What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 344. We have another great episode for you today with some big games to talk about, none of which are Death Stranding 2, but we may consider talking about it. Hoeg hasn't really played it, but, you know, he talked about wanting to play it at some point. But we are here. We're back. It's Sunday. It's a great day of gaming, another great week of gaming. And, yeah, here we are. We're here. We are going to be talking about Death Stranding 2, of course. That's our big topic this week. It's a big release of the week. I won't be talking about it, but these guys will. We've also got some other games to mention, and we're actually going to run through the second half of 2025 and all the big games that we now have release dates for and what you can expect and are most anticipated as well. So to do that, I am going to have to rely on Mr. Nintendo San Francisco hat over here, the lawman himself.
Yes, who did not go to San Francisco, but instead received a very generous gift package from my co-host, Travis. Thank you so much for picking up things from Nintendo San Francisco, including this wonderful hat, who I'm told in the pre-show looked like Hoeg because it was gray and neutral and boring. Is that accurate, Travis?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, your normal hat is gray, right? The Hoeg Law. I didn't make that up, right?
No. That's my standard hat is the Hoeg Law hat, which is gray.
I figured in my brain, Hoeg would look at a hat, and if it had too much color to it, would go, that's not a business hat. We wear these hats for business. And so I saw that hat and it said Nintendo San Francisco, and I said that's exactly what he's looking for. So there you go.
Nailed it. It matches his shirt. I mean, here entirely. You're good to go.
Well, maybe he color coordinated. That's probably not coincidence.
Oh, it is coincidence. My wife makes fun of me that if you look at my closet, there's various shades of like gray and black and other neutral tones because that's what I like to go out in. So you hit me right on the head, Travis. I got to give you credit for that. I love this hat. I saw it. I was like, oh, I will actually wear that. So
nice. Hell yeah. Nailed it.
You hit me right on the head. I like that. The pun, the double entendre, whatever you want to call it. It was well played.
On the head with the hat. Sometimes you got to.
Well played. And Ty Guy, he did. He visited Nintendo San Francisco. He sent us a picture after the show last week. He did keep his word, and we are very happy for it. So, Ty Guy, we are going to do a little show and tell. Hoeg, you want to kick us off?
I do. Yes. I've got a few things. I actually couldn't show everything that Travis sent to me because my daughters claimed the Pikmin. So I can't show you the rock Pikmin or the red Pikmin that Travis sent me, but I can show you Uchi, the dog from Pikmin 4. Enormous, blocking out the sun. You can't see me anymore. It's just Uchi. Only Uchi now.
It, honestly.
And I got the lovely Balladeer from Animal Crossing, KK Slider. Who wants to hear a tune? Look at that. A little guitar.
You said Balladeer and then you said KK Slider, and I don't play Animal Crossing, so I don't know what any of those things mean. Is the name Balladeer?
Somebody who plays a ballad.
A Balladeer.
Oh, a Balladeer. I thought you said Baldir, like Baldir or something. Okay.
And then this isn't from Travis, but my family...
Unrelated.
My family got this for me for Father's Day because they love and appreciate me. So my own Paddington Bear.
It's not made out of toilet paper rolls, but it'll do, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, give me a show and tell. Paddington's coming out. That's the
coming
point.
out. Well, I will join and echo Hoeg's comments, and I was very pleased because a random box arrived on Friday, and I was like, I didn't order anything, although I say that a lot, and usually it's something I did order and forgot about. But this time it was from Travis, and indeed, I was very happy to find my boys.
Look at some Kongs.
The best thing about this Donkey Kong, too, is look at his fists. They're giant. His tie hangs down, and when you set him on the table, which I will behind me here, he leans on his fist like he should. See? Can you see him? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's awesome. So I'm very excited. I'm ready for Bonanza now, and we can finally have a proper Bitcast here. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I will tell you, my daughter came home from camp this weekend, and one of the things that she hadn't seen was the Bonanza Direct, and she got really excited about that Direct. And then my kids started kind of emulating the narration from that Direct, which if you saw this is a very excitable Nintendo narrator saying Bonanza all over the place. And so that's what they were doing around the house. So we are supportive of the Bonanza property now, Ains.
Nice.
Yes.
I love it. I think that game's going to do really well, honestly. A lot of people I see hyped for it after that direct, which is great. So,
Yeah, the
I
direct
also
was
got
great.
my own haul, by the way. Turns out, so all of your guys' stuff was very difficult to get, by the way. Ains, yours was actually sold out. I took the display ones that you're not supposed to take. I just waited until people were gone, and I was like, I'm
the
going to buy
Donkey Kongs?
display Donkey Kongs. So those are literally the last ones on the shelves.
Yes.
But the stuff that I bought for myself was plentiful because apparently nobody wants Legend of Zelda neckties. They had a few of them, and they were very well stocked on the neckties. For some
They're
reason,
in the back
those
corner.
those weren't flying off the shelves. Everything else.
It's a
was very hard
demographic
to
audience
find.
of one.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty chaotic. It was also coincidentally the first day you could buy the Nintendo Switch 2 if you hadn't pre-ordered it.
Oh,
So the line was pretty long. Apparently, the line in that place is like always like 20 minutes plus since it opened. It opened recently. But yeah, it was like a lot of people hoping that they would be able to get a Nintendo Switch too, which was pretty fun. Also, I found out you can buy Nintendo Switch 2 docks separately and bought one. You can just buy multiple docks.
You could do that in the first one too.
That's what they did with the first one. It's
Yeah.
I think arguably more important with the second one because of the rigging that they have and the fan and everything else. Because what I did instead of a dock for the Switch 1 was I had a little like USB connector.
Yeah.
That
I'd
was
use those too.
Yeah, that was great for going on vacation. But this time I had to get like a case that could carry the dock and a separate dock. And my Switch is ready for vacation. So
Nice.
It took me multiple packages, multiple orders, but it is now, it's got its memory card, it's got its case, it's got its extra dock. I'm ready to go. I love my Switch.
Nice.
Yeah, I've actually been playing Tears of the Kingdom, a game that I only played 10 hours of and then stopped on the Switch 1. And Switch 2 has been like a perfect excuse to just like start a fresh save file and start over. And the game's sick.
It is.
I mean, I know this is old news, but that game is sick as hell.
It is. No, it's tremendous. And now it's gorgeous too. So it's a big win.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
Well, thank you, Travis. That's really awesome. Those things, you can get Donkey Kong and Diddy plushes, but getting real Nintendo ones, not super easy, or finding ones
Those are the
that
small
are
versions,
funny.
by the way. I found out.
Yeah, I was telling Hoeg before you jumped on. I said did they have a big Donkey Kong?
They didn't have it there. They had
Okay.
like the Donkey Kong stuff was basically destroyed. They had a
Probably because
onesie.
of Bonanza.
They had a onesie that made you look like an ape. It was like furry onesie. I almost got that for you, but I was like, I don't think he would even wear that on the show as a joke.
Yeah, I would have tried. I mean, at least attempt it. So
Yeah, I don't think they're really in your size.
yeah, but that's no, it's great. Thank you, man. All right, so let's get caught up here. And I noticed my screen was flickering. I fixed it by literally unminimizing my camera plugin. Who knows? Windows is fun.
I don't think we were saying that.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Might have just been on your end.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. It was twitching out. All right. Googleman is here. We'll catch up on these quick things at the start here. Googleman kicks us off this week like old times.
Googleman81, 10 euro super chat. Ever had sunburn on top of your head from going to the beach without a hat?
Yes.
Because that's for nerds? Well, you should have played more video games.
Yes, I have.
I have never been accused of going somewhere without a hat because that's for nerds.
There you go. Yeah. I don't sunburn super easily.
No, I thought you would.
No, surprisingly, I don't. I did get sunburned kind of recently, but it was on the back of my neck. I don't really get it on my head. Do you have to put lotion on top of your head?
Yeah.
Suntan lotion?
Yeah, if I'm going to be out for an extended period. In fact, I got sunburnt at Summer Game Fest. Just being out on the Playdays campus there. I got home.
LA will do that for you, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. So, Googleman, thank you, my friend. Where the hell I'm hitting the wrong buttons? Vintage Willow is back, kicking us off with 5 SG memberships right at the top of the show. Willow, good to see you again. Thank you as always. We missed you the past couple weeks, so thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Travis, you said you have a lore dump for us this week.
Yes. I have a lore dump this week, and it's either going to be the shortest lore dump section we've ever had or an extended heated discussion. My question this week is...
Isn't that everything we talk about here?
No. This, like, usually, you say a lore dump and you expect everybody's going to have like answers. This one literally could be a one word answer. And if it is, we'll all just move on. Okay. My question this week is, do you guys believe in ghosts?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
Ains? Me neither. All right, let's move on. We're all saying no. I love that because I don't know if you guys have ever seen like I told you, and it could be really short. There's a podcaster I like who he asks, "Do you believe in ghosts?" as his first question to ever guess, because he believes that it's going to determine whether they get along or not. And anybody who says they do believe in ghosts, he's just like, all right, so I'm not going to listen to anything you say the rest of this podcast, which I think is really funny. So I was just wondering, I don't know. Some people believe in ghosts. Do your wives believe in ghosts?
I will say I don't think that like science has nailed down every possible phenomenon in the world. So I think there's things that are unexplained, but I don't think there's human spirits roaming the earth. No.
Yeah, and even if there were, you shouldn't believe in stuff that before it has been proven, right? We can agree.
No, I think the onus of proof should always come first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ains, does your wife believe in ghosts? Because I met your wife, and she seems like something she'd believe in.
I don't think ghosts. She is spiritual in that sense, and she's a Buddhist, and but I don't think ghosts. If I had to guess, I honestly don't know. But if I had to guess,
you've never asked your wife if she believes in ghosts?
That's not something that just comes up in conversation.
I've asked Dee many times, and she's like, "Yes, I do believe in ghosts." And I'm like, "Stop! Come on, you've got to be joking. There's no way you actually believe." But she does believe in ghosts. I don't know.
I will say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Hoeg? Does co-counsel believe in ghosts?
Oh, no.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I didn't recognize that was an inquiry for me.
Okay, good. What were you going to say, Ains?
So on that note, though, just to extend this for a minute, have you ever had something in that vein that you can't explain? Because I have. Have I told this story before?
No.
Oh, okay. Here's a little lore dump. So when Xbox 360 came out, at the time I was with my ex. This is obviously 20 years ago now. I was with my ex and my one buddy back in Delaware. We were gaming. I had a game room that was down in the basement, big screen and all that, and we're gaming. So it's a 3-story house, and the only people in the house were me and him playing the game, and it was like 1:30 in the morning because we were just up late drinking, playing. My girlfriend at the time was asleep on the 3rd floor, right? So like full staircase, like, 2 full floors above. So we're sitting there gaming, and from the steps basically going down to the basement, we hear her voice go, "Ainsley." And my friend Jesse and I are both sitting there, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, Ainsley, yeah." And no response. And I'm like, "Hold on, man, pause the game." Walk up. No one on the ground floor. Everything's dark. All the lights are off. Walk upstairs to the 3rd floor. She's completely asleep in the bed. And I come back down, and my friend literally says to me, what did she want? I'm not going to say her name. "What did she want?" And I'm like, "Dude, she's literally asleep, like all the way upstairs." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, serious. Like, we have never been able to explain it. We still talk about it to this day.
That's pretty fun.
It's weird. Yeah, weird.
She might have just been saying your name in her sleep.
Yeah, she'd have to say it loud. I'm home theater 2 floors, but like 2 levels beneath her. There's like, if you knew that house, you know what I mean? It's an old house, and there's no way she'd have to be yelling it. So It was interesting. Okay.
I've not had anybody astrally project to ask my name.
Me neither. I don't think I've. My thing is, Dee's always like, "Oh, wouldn't you be open to seeing something unexplainable and stuff?" And I'm just like, bro, if I saw a ghost, if I thought I saw a ghost, my first reaction would not be, "Oh, ghosts must be real." It would be, "Oh, I must be mentally ill. I should go to the doctor because my brain is broken." And I think people skip that step of realizing that the brain is pretty inefficient. It's prone to glitches,
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel
like that would be my
It fills gaps.
Yeah, that would be my first thing. Would be, oh, my brain must be wrong, rather than our reality is different than everybody thought. Like, there's a certain amount of hubris in believing that one thing you've seen must overturn like empirical evidence that we've had for thousands of years. But that's me.
Yeah,
I do like that D believes in crazy shit, though. It's fun. It's interesting. It's fun.
It's probably. I was gonna say it's probably at least fun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you were at our wedding. You know, our entire dynamic is we are exact opposites. Yeah, she's all feelings. I'm all thinking and
logic.
Yeah, logic.
I don't think that's too different from a lot of relationships, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. It works.
So, yeah. All right. Well, that's what we'll call our bullshit segment for the start of the show here. We've got Tide's picks, and then we'll get to some games here. So Tide, hit us with these picks this week. What do we got? I haven't even looked at them. Oh, we are stranding.
We are delivery boys
on the beach.
We're on the beach.
Did we make it to the beach?
We're fully on the beach.
I look like I've seen some stuff.
Yeah, Hoeg,
Hoeg,
this is maybe your first ugly AI photo. Welcome. How does it feel?
Amazing.
Ains and I have been here for years. Welcome to the pit. Yeah, no,
you look off.
No, he looks like he got Kojima-fied for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
They gave him the longer face, kind of robust chin.
You look like you've really seen some stuff, and you have a headset with a mic this time.
Is that a headset with a mic? Yeah, I guess it is.
I think it is.
Also, a little facial hair. They took the rims out of the bottom of my glasses, which is a style of glasses I never use. It's interesting. We all got Kojima-fied. The AI really took some creative license this week with with all of us, didn't they? Yeah. Interesting. And Ames, your headset's not actually over your ears.
No, and I've got the 1,000-yard stare going on.
Yeah, you're doing that thing where you keep one ear open in case somebody calls you. Do you do that IRL?
No.
I do it sometimes in case D's trying to talk to me. Good times.
Pretty funny though. D, thank you. D, Jesus, you've said D multiple times. Tide, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you as always. D.
To be clear, Tide is not Travis's wife.
That's too bad.
Yet.
We don't know. Still time.
You never know. There's still plenty of time. All right, let's get into it. So a little game came out this week that a handful of people were looking forward to, I guess. I don't really know why, but it's called Death Stranding 2, and apparently you go to a beach. I think it's a cozy game. I don't know too much about it, but I hear from some people playing it, jokes aside, that I've heard obviously critically received very well, better than the first one, which was already really good, and I've heard it's excellent. So Hoeg, this is going to be your spot, my friend. You said this is the game for you right now. Let's hear about it.
I did, yes. This is the one, folks. Usually I like to try to lead up to these things. I like to say, hey, maybe I don't feel good about this. Maybe I don't feel bad about this. Leave you wondering. This is the one. You wait throughout the year to have that feeling of the game or the movie or whatever else you're into, for it to be like, oh yeah, that's why I do this thing. This is why I game. This is why I watch movies. This is why I read books. Death Stranding 2 is the one. And this actually surprised me a little bit. I loved the first one, and the project, Death Stranding 2, was one that I was not really in favor of pursuing because the ending of Death Stranding 1 is so strong that it's such a complete thought as a game. But I am happy to sit here in front of you all now and tell you that I was completely wrong. Death Stranding 2 is amazing. You have heard me talk in this space and others about the various games that I'm playing throughout the year. I've talked about The Alters, which is a game that is about clones of yourself and other science fiction thoughts, and is excellent in telling a story on a science fiction and metaphysical level. I love that. You heard me talk earlier this year about a game called Roadcraft, in which you are dealing with infrastructure problems and trying to build up, after a disaster, a city of some kind in these various missions, and get the people connected so that they can get resources to one another. You've heard me talk about, what else do I have here? Let's see. I took notes. Travis yells at me for my notes, but I like to keep my thoughts straight. I also have talked about Final
Kingdom
Fantasy
Come
16
Deliverance
a
2.
lot. Yes, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an excellent one as well. I was going to use Final Fantasy 16 for this part, but
Sorry.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Final Fantasy 16 share a deep love of world building and lore and codex entries and all the stuff that I love to dig into in a game that unfortunately I didn't get out of Expedition 33, which again, folks that get mad at me, is still a game that I like. I just didn't like it as much as I had hoped to. All of those things and more are present in Death Stranding 2. Now, with a mission structure and mechanics, the actual act of playing it, that are more reflective of what Kojima is really good at. So it feels like Metal Gear Solid 5 and Death Stranding 1 had a baby, and that the result is just amazing. So you've got all the connection, you've got all the deep thoughts that Hideo puts into his various games that some people react well to, some people don't. That's going to be a reasonable minds can differ, your mileage may vary type of thing. But he loves his deep thoughts, he loves his composed cutscenes. They are shorter and more focused now. And for those of you that don't like the longer cutscenes, he did add one quality of life thing, which I laugh at, but is very effective, which is when you pause a cutscene, and yes, you can pause them now, there's a little bar like you have at the bottom of your YouTube videos that shows how far you are in the cutscene in case you need to run out and your wife's yelling at you down the stairs or whatever else happening in your life. And you can tell how long the cutscene is. Now, he cheats. He'll run 4 cutscenes in a row sometimes because he's Hideo Kojima. That's what he does. But that bar is super helpful. You can pause. Everything comes back on a refresh after you put your PlayStation in rest state anyway. So it's okay. You can live with it. You can be told a story. You don't have to just shoot everybody in a corridor and not care why. Death Stranding 2 is why I game. Makes me feel all the feels while I'm roaming the Highlands, trying to connect people with awesome music that I never would have listened to on my own, playing now in the MP3 player that you can get in the game and listen to not just in your base, but out there in the field, feeling all the things. And you can get a mission to go and attack a bandit base. And just like Metal Gear Solid 5, you have all the ways that you can come at it in a sandbox. Send up your drone, see where the people are, figure out a way to sneak in, come up behind them, do whatever it is that you're going to do, and have all of that gameplay on top of a game that really wants to tell a deep story. I have not seen a game this confident in itself, this so sure of what it wants to be since Alan Wake 2. And arguably this one is even stronger than that one.
Awesome. Travis, you've played a little bit, right?
I've played a good chunk. I played like most of the day yesterday. I think I mostly agree with Hoeg. Like the first game had some good ideas, which, you know, I think a lot of people like myself didn't really get to see or enjoy because the game itself was so weak. And my main criticism with it is simply that it was just boring, right? It's like a lot of like logistics and balance, and you're constantly having to deal with your character tripping over his own feet all the time. And, you know, it's just like, all right, I want to get into this, but I'm just having a hard time getting over the game part of it, which is a common criticism I have of like a lot of story focused games. And it was especially surprising because Kojima has shown competency in the past for stealth gameplays, like one of the best stealth game designers ever. And so I went into this. I recently, was it last year that Death Stranding came out on Xbox? I gave that game a second try, and still had the same kind of issues with it. So I went into this one with let's see how they've improved it. I'd heard from one of my coworkers that they had made some significant improvements, and I have a few coworkers who felt similarly to the way I felt about Death Stranding 1, where, you know, they wanted to get to the story, but they had a really hard time eating around the gameplay. This addresses gameplay largely. Like it is an incredibly large step up in the gameplay department. It actually gives you ways to engage with the game beyond just, you know, balancing luggage on your back and running around. There is still some of that, and it can kind of be annoying when your character's just tripping over their own feet and all that stuff, and you're just like, God damn it, like this is sort of irritating. But it's way less of a problem. They took a lot of kind of the monotony out of that, and then when you're actually engaging in stealth gameplay, the stealth is sick. I mean, it's really, really good. Like you do the tutorials and you're like, okay, this feels like Metal Gear Solid 5, which
yep.
Yeah, it's like, all right, yeah. Like as soon as I did the tutorial things, I was like, oh, this is Metal Gear. And then you can choose to not do that. You can just sneak around them, which honestly I had fun doing that too, just like getting around the enemies and finding creative ways to kind of like not engage in the combat. But then if you do get engaged with some bandits, and even whether it's a firefight or you're sneaking up behind them and choking them out with the garrote that doesn't kill them, obviously, it's a lot of
rope.
fun.
Yeah,
ropes don't kill people. You can choke them out to unconsciousness. But yeah, it still has, I think, some of the stuff that turned some people off in terms of like the story is like it barely makes sense. It's a Kojima thing, right? Like the fact that there's still a
objection. Objection on this.
Come on, there's a character character called Die Hardman. There's still some goofiness in this.
There's a lot of goofiness, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. Honestly, I said this about the first Death Stranding, that even though there's all these weird images that you get at the start of that game, by the time you get to the end, it will essentially be over-explained to you. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
I would say that
everything that happens
of Kojima in general, that like he puts a lot of weird stuff in his game and then over-explains it to make sense, but it is still like on the periphery of like, am I supposed to believe this?
I'm not going to tell you that you don't have to like have a certain suspension of disbelief and an acceptance of Hideo Kojima weirdness, anime weirdness, however you want to frame that in your head. That is absolutely true. What I will fight you on is that it doesn't make sense. It feels like it doesn't make sense for moments at a time, and then it makes all the sense in the world.
It makes sense if you're willing to...
No spoilers here, boys.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
I referenced a character that was in the first game. So yeah, there's a character named Die Hardman. You do have to suspend your disbelief, and I think you can argue that it makes sense in the context of the world. But if you're trying to exist in a plane where like, well, how did any of this happen? How did they decide that something was called beached things? I think you can make a pretty strong argument that the world does not make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense in context of itself, but you have to do an awful lot of suspending of your disbelief and like getting used to the ridiculousness before you can step into a place where you're like, okay, it makes sense.
It's a weird world, but it's built around absolutely wonderful game design. The reason that the world exists the way it does informs how the game was made to be played in a way that you don't usually see. You see kind of a separation there where we build this world and then you play this dumb game. I love Final Fantasy 16. I've talked about that at length. But what I love about it is the world building, the politics, some of the stuff that they do. That is not reflected in what you're actually doing while you play Final Fantasy 16. And the best thing I can say about Death Stranding 1 is that it was built. All of the story conceits, all of the weirdness was built to get you into this place where you're Norman Reedus and you have to walk between these cities and deal with all this stuff. And it's built for purpose in that way. And while that can be boring for some, and honestly can be boring for me at times, it's built to be arduous. It's built to be every inch a mile. And give you that narrative pop from, oh, I've connected this country, and it was a really hard thing to do. And all the things that go with the infrastructure building, which is, oh, it took me 4 hours to climb that mountain. And now when I get the infrastructure in place and I build the zip lines and whatever else I'm doing, and this is from the first, I'm not spoiling the second, then it all feels great because I can do it in 30 seconds now. And these people really are connected, and I can see the world improve. And all the things from the gardening games that I love so much, the infrastructure building games, are present in Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2 in a way that makes the coziness pop, come alive. And that narrative is built for that. And yes, I can suspend my disbelief because he's clearly gone through the work of making sure that this makes sense for internal world logic. I am totally okay with that. I agree with you, Travis, 100%, that that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for some people. That's not going to work for everybody. Not everybody is going to have Hideo Kojima taste. And I do, and that really works for me here, and that's great. But what really surprises me is how much he's able to get out of this story after everything that he got out of the first. Like, I really thought this sequel would feel like a cash-in, that Death Stranding did all right, and so I'm going to make a sequel, and we're going to kind of run around, and is it going to make sense? We're going to find another continent. We're going to connect that continent, whatever. And it's not. It's so much more than that from a narrative and story perspective. He's dealing with spirituality and life and death questions and Greek mythology and all this other stuff at the same time as putting together maybe the best sandbox stealth game in history. because Metal Gear Solid 5 didn't quite come together at the end. And so you combine these things, gameplay and narrative and story and world building, and these really brilliant game design ideas of how to get the infrastructure working and the internet connection to reflect the narrative that he wants to tell. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you Hideo Kojima is a genius. What I'm going to tell you is he is a really freaking successful game designer and project manager and gets things done and has really interesting ideas that we are blessed to see in our wonderful industry, because without him, we'd have less to be excited about. I am not a individual worshiper on these things. I'm not a Miyazaki, Miyamoto, Hideo Kojima worshiper on these things. These guys can make mistakes. But in this particular case, the reason he has a cult at all is because he's really gifted at what he does. And we shouldn't forget that, while also being online saying, you just like it because Hideo made it. It's not the case. He's going to get a lot of crap when this is nominated for Game of the Year, which it is going to be, because Jeff Keighley likes him. But Jeff Keighley liked him because he's good at making video games first. And then he liked him for other reasons, probably related to ego and celebrity, and we're not going to go into those. But this is a game to be excited about, people. And if you at all like Death Stranding 1, and I completely agree with Travis that it can be a little bit much in its arduousness and its boringness and moving packages from place to place, which I can find the zen in, because I do love a cozy game, and I love a loop that lets you build stars and relationship points with people. This has sanded off all the edges of that process, made it more compelling at any individual level when you're moving packages around, and then added on a Metal Gear combat loop. So it's just better. It's just better than the first one, which was a game I loved. Get excited.
Yeah. That said, they do still just give you a new country and say, connect that one too. We're going to do the whole world. Death Stranding 8, we're going to be like, you know what? You need to connect Brazil. We got other places to connect. So that's a fun one. I do like that Mexico is apparently the world's smallest country. You can walk east to west of that country in about 15 minutes. It's
I always love that abstraction in Death Stranding, because it's like you connect DC to Ohio in like one mission.
Yeah. Well, also, he says that he's only going to be gone for a couple of days. He's like, I got to go connect to the entire country of Mexico and dodge ghosts while I do it. I'll be back in 3 to 4 days.
I'll be back Thursday.
And you're like, what? What? How big do you think Mexico is? Okay. Yeah. It's just, again, you have to really suspend your disbelief with this one. But if you do, you're going to see some weird shit. And this time, the weird shit has fewer annoying sections of like, inventory management, the game to deal with.
It does. They've made a lot of quality of life adjustments just for the buttons that you're going to use the most, and everything else that went into the logistics simulator that was Death Stranding 1. Honestly, my daughter wants to...
I thought I was going to hate this game after 5 minutes of playing it, because in the first mission, Ains, you have a baby attached to you and it's crying the entire time. There's not a sound in this world that I despise more than a baby making baby sounds. Crying, especially screaming, and it was doing it the whole time. And I was like, oh, if I have this baby on me, I'm gonna kill myself. I cannot deal with this. So that was really bad. But they get rid of the baby, thank God.
Okay. You just throw it out and
they find it a babysitter, and then you're like, all right, cool. I don't have to look at this ugly thing. It's pretty cool.
This half human.
Ugh. Stay in there longer. Grow more fully before you come out. What is this?
I don't think the women watching are appreciating your commentary at the moment.
I like that Travis is kind of bouncing around plot points from the game while not spoiling anything.
I haven't spoiled anything.
No, that's why I said you didn't. No. I gave you credit, Travis.
Yeah. I'm dancing around it.
But that's good.
But yeah, Ains, I will say, it is actually, I know you're not a big fan of Metal Gear in general, and the gameplay is very much like Metal Gear stealth.
Nothing you've described has made me want to play it any more than I did starting the show, which is fine. It's just not for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously not a Kojima like sycophant. I thought the first Death Stranding, like, I think IGN gave it like a 6, and I was like, yeah, pretty much. That's what I'd probably give it. And this game, I think it fixes a lot of the problems those in the I just don't like eating around the gameplay part camp were worried about. And I believe the IGN reviewer was also somebody who thought the first one was like okay, and I think they gave it a 9, for Death Stranding 2. So it is a significant improvement. And I look forward to playing more of it. I don't know when I'm going to, but I'm going to. I put like maybe 6 or 7 hours into it yesterday. So
Okay.
I believe I'm at 25.
nice.
How long is the game supposed to be?
I can't tell you. I would say it
Doing all
looks
the
like
stuff.
it looks like it's tracking for like an 80-hour run for me, give or
Oh,
take.
wow.
But I do take most of the shelters up to at least 4 stars before I move on.
I don't know what that means, but cool.
It's
You're improving your settlements.
you're social bonding.
He's being a completionist.
I'm
Okay.
not.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. That's good though.
Well,
No, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say they have 5 stars for the shelter, so I'm an odd completionist. Hoeg, the 80% completionist.
Someone asked me, did I play MGS5? I played MGS5 briefly. I told these guys yesterday 4 I actually played finished, and I actually really liked at the time, despite the absurd cutscenes. In fact, I have the MGS4 PS3 bundle. Like
Is that the one with the sniper segment at the end?
No, that's 3.
That's 3. Okay.
I never finished 3, so I've played all of them. If I recall correctly, I finished 1. 1's obviously a long time ago. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1, not Metal Gear on the NES.
I assumed.
Yeah, but MGS 1, I finished 2, which is absurd. And then I finished 4, which I like the most. But 3 and 5, I just kind of started. They're just not for me. They're not my thing.
You don't like stealth games or what?
Not a huge stealth guy, really. I always preferred Splinter Cell. I liked Splinter Cell better than Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
At the time, I mean, you're going back 15, 20 years, right? So, but it's fine. I'm in the minority on this one. Everyone, my entire timeline on Blue Sky is people loving Death Stranding 2. So it's awesome. It's good to see.
You know, it's funny. I always forget how much I like stealth games because most stealth games are like not good stealth games. They're like that thing where you're like sneaking around and you stab them with a knife, and then you go. It's like there's so many of those. Like, people are gonna hate me for this, but like The Last of Us kind of sensibility of like, oh, it's kind of stealth. It's basically crouching. It's not really like true stealth. And then you play a game like Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid, and you're like, oh yeah, this is like full stealth, where like the entire point is stealth. And those games really scratch an itch I forget I have. I really like them.
Nice.
Yeah, no, this is incredible, and it's surprising to me still. Every single time I go in to play that, you're going to see stuff that you don't expect. It's going to expand in ways you don't expect. Right? What you're doing, what the world asks of you, in a way that Death Stranding 1 doesn't. Right? I really like Death Stranding 1. I really do. But I really like it for vibes, atmosphere, and narrative storytelling by the time it gets to the end. It's a very episodic story. Some episodes are going to work for you, some are not. And the entire time you're going to be walking boxes between places, which I liked, but I can understand people not liking. It feels like a proof of concept compared to Death Stranding 2.
It really does, yeah.
This feels like Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2 to me, that kind of big jump in like, oh God, this is what this can do.
Good.
And
they also
it's
also helped with one of the things that really bothered me about the first one, was that there were a bunch of like really long unskippable cutscenes in the first one where it's like, oh, I've got to watch him like take a shower and drink a Rockstar energy drink, and I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, why are they making me do this every time? And this one, they still have that, but they're like small touches, like little moments. They don't feel like just wasting my time. It's like they're just like, oh, okay, that was like a neat little section where I got to see this guy living his life a little bit, and then it quickly moves away from it. And then also they're skippable if you've seen them a bunch and you're just like, all right, I get it, which you couldn't in the first one. So they've also just done like little things. I think they got the feedback right on like the stuff that was a little bit irritating, and I'm really impressed with it.
It's good. I think the proof of concept comment is probably, you think back, right, with the Konami and Kojima stuff with MGS5 and what happened there and the fallout and everything. Then he sets up his studio, right, and obviously wants to go in this new kind of idea direction with Death Stranding. And again, it's not like I'm the most well versed on this, but from all the commentary and all the reviews and everything, it felt, to Hoeg's point, like here's where he wants to go. But it was their first game as an independent studio at the time, and it's sounding more and more, as you guys have described it, and the people I've talked to, as exactly what you said, Hoeg. It's like now this is fully fleshed out. They took the the several years. It's been 6 years since Death Stranding 1, right? So they took the several years, they really fleshed it out. They made it probably the vision that he wanted to do from the start.
Yeah, this is the game. It really is. This is what it was aimed at. It was just unclear in the first one that this is where it was going. And it's fantastic. I mean, we didn't even speak about one of the more impressive things about it, which is the graphics are insane. The Decima engine is killing it in all of the various locales that you're going to. It is gorgeous. The cutscene direction is, since you're going to be sitting there watching it for at least a few minutes, fantastic. Composition is great. Hideo still is clear that he wanted to be a movie director or TV director at some point, and the cutscenes are directed in a way that you don't always see in video games in terms of composition and setups and lighting and everything else. So it is one of the most aesthetically pleasing things that you will play this year.
Well, to Googleman's point too, they're making a Death Stranding movie, right? Like that was announced. I'm 99% sure.
I think that's right. There are so many random game movies announced.
That's true.
So.
That's true. So Fat Boy Horror, I don't know what name you're using here, my friend, but was talking about this on our Discord yesterday because he's playing it as well. So we'll get the super chat while we're talking about
this isn't Fat Boy Horror. This is MJ Furnace 35.
YouTube
super chat.
YouTube is having an issue with the super chats and the chatting in general, moving the, like, I don't know what you call them, the display name to like the @ name.
Oh, okay.
So
now we're seeing people's raw account names. Beautiful.
Maybe. Yeah.
He writes, as long as it's not for the tricycle. Goddamn, that thing is worse than the Mako. Tricycles in general, I wouldn't recommend them. You guys recommend a tricycle?
No, you want to know how old I am? Is when I was 5, my dad, because he had no care for child safety, bought me an actual Honda 3-wheeler, which have been illegal since the 90s. But this was the 80s, and he bought me one on Christmas Day. This is not a joke. Another lore dump for you. Christmas Day, and walked me outside, said, "Here's your Honda 3-wheeler. Go have fun." Like a power engine Honda 3-wheeler, not like a Power Wheels, like a real Honda 3-wheeler.
You got a car
I almost broke
for
my leg.
Christmas? This is insane.
My dad had money at the time before I was 6. He lost it that year. But yeah, I went out and I got my leg caught in the wheel, rolled it over, and almost broke my leg. My dad was frequently trying to kill me.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's good. 80s,
What's the car in Forza Horizon that has 3 wheels? The one with where it's got one wheel on the front. What is that car called?
Oh, damn.
I can't remember that car. I love to use that thing as a joke.
Yeah, you can power it up to like 1,000 horsepower. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway,
one thing I will say,
guys?
One thing I will say to this chat, no, I don't think so. I will say, to the credit of Death Stranding 2, that it actually gets you vehicles and some of your more higher powered gear earlier than the first one. Like, they've clearly changed the curve to get rid of some of that early boredom or just not grokking with what the game is doing. So you get the bike a lot earlier in this game than you do in the first one. And I don't really have any problem driving it around. It's certainly not as bad as the Mako.
The Mako?
Mako,
isn't it?
I don't know, man. It's Mako and Final Fantasy. Whatever it is in Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, I'm pretty sure.
Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, that's great. I'm glad it turned out as well as you had hoped. I know you were highly anticipating it, Hoeg. So, what?
Just the way you're saying that. That's great. Happy for you. Just like the level of detachment.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's like you're patting us on the head after we watched the Minecraft movie as kids. You're like, I'm glad you liked that. I'm glad you.
There's so many amazing games out. I think we have to all accept, like, not all the games are for everyone. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I can tell you that I'd be willing to bet.
For me, though,
I'd be willing to bet that the game of the year for those that care is going to be Expedition versus Death Stranding.
Well, we know Death Stranding is going to be there. Keeley jokes aside, of course, but yeah,
it's going to be there because it deserves to be there.
What about Split Fiction?
Split Fiction will probably be there as well, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will be close to winning because of It Takes Two, primarily.
Didn't you say that was the best game ever made?
I think Split Fiction is fantastic. I'm not talking about what I would vote for, although I would probably vote for Death Stranding 2 at this point. I'm talking about what is likely to be nominated, what's likely to win. Split Fiction, I think Bonanza is likely to be there. We haven't played that one yet. That one's not out, but certainly looks like the Odyssey team, and it's getting the full Nintendo marketing package. So I suspect that one will have a lot of uplift in the eyes of the gaming community. But I think it's going to be Expedition versus Death Stranding. However you feel about that is up to you, dear listener or viewer. But that's what I think it's going to be.
And it should be Kingdom Come Deliverance too. But that's okay.
I think Kingdom Come Deliverance would win a lot of years, honestly. I don't think it's going to win this year.
I think it probably.
No, I'm with you. I don't think it'll win at the Game Awards. That's for sure.
It should win.
Should win.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Couple quick anecdotes from me, since I can't talk about Death Stranding. I figured I would kind of take over the Hoeg's Notes section this week. So a couple of small games. So I want to talk about Deck of Haunts. This is a deck builder, which kind of has a unique aesthetic. It's almost like a deck builder / isometric tabletop game sort of thing. One of our contributors, Ray, has been playing this for several weeks now, and it came out in May, but it's gotten kind of that ongoing update since release. And we put up a overview of it this week, but it's really, really neat from an artistic style, and you can kind of play it of like you take control with your deck of cards of the actual mansion or the house itself, and you're basically trying to kill the people going into it in various ways.
Love that.
And so it's really neat looking. One. She said it has it's good with a lot of potential. It has some rough edges right now that they're obviously making better over the past couple months. So just one I'd like to call out. You can read more about it on the site, but I think that it seems like one that has a lot of potential, especially for people that like those sorts of things. So
I really do love killing the heroes that come into the dungeon. I love the Deception franchise, Dungeon Keeper. Love that as a
boss monster.
Yeah.
I don't think Boss Monster is a great board game, but I do have it. I have played it.
Yeah.
I've actually played that one, believe it or not.
I'm with you. I think it's okay.
The other one I wanted to mention, which I put up a short preview of from Summer Game Fest, was Chroma Gun 2. And this is not me making this up. This is something Travis would write. But the subtitle on Chroma Gun 2 is Die Hard, D-Y-E, Die Hard.
Nice.
Because this is like what they basically call this game is kind of like Portal with paint. So it's got the very Portal aesthetic, that kind of like laboratory environment. You have a gun, but it's a paint gun that shoots your primary colors, and then you can combine them. And basically, as you go through the rooms, you're like, solving puzzles with your paint gun and shooting things and moving things around the room and platforming and doing all this kind of thing. So the original came out way back in 2016. And then they had a VR version of it in 2019, and they have a sequel that's coming out now. The demo you can play on Steam currently for free. So I figured I'd just mention that one as well. It's one you can check out. I played it a little bit Summer Game Fest, and like I said, there's a short preview I put up of it. But if that's your sort of thing, it's not really my type of game, so I didn't spend a lot of time with it. But, I know certain people love those games. So, what I started playing this week, just quick mention too, is I was playing Rematch, which I talked about last week from Slow Clap. And I was like,
nice.
I really love Sifu. I reviewed Sifu. I loved it to death. So I just pulled it back out, started playing it again yesterday, and have almost played through the whole thing again. I love that game.
Good game.
Few games make you feel like that much of a badass once you really get a hold of it. You know what I mean? Once you can really kind of pull it off. It's amazing game.
Yeah, I got to that one late, but I did eventually beat it. It was fun.
Great game.
This is where I jump in and say that Death Stranding 2 has a completely new melee system that has off left arm, right arm blocks and things that is at least a little bit Sifu representative.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it in that state, but yeah. It's,
Kingdom Come like where you have to kind of aim left, right, up, down.
You have to manage both of your arms separately.
My experience was it's mostly just swinging your arms.
That sentence was quite funny when you take it out of context.
Was that the one where you hold LT and then you press RT? Yeah, for the parry. Okay.
What game?
Sorry, I've been playing like 15 games this week, so I can't remember if this is the one where your character goes like this when they're blocking. They go like this.
What game? What do you ask?
I can't remember. I think it's Death Stranding.
I think he's asking about Death Stranding.
Okay.
Is that the one where when you're in block mode, your character like just puts his hand on his chest for some reason?
I honestly don't know. I have not recorded that in my head doing that.
Anyway, I think it's Death Stranding too. I've been speaking of which, I've been playing a lot.
Sorry, Travis. Real quick, Rob Frawley had asked, "What's the paid game?" Chroma Gun 2. There's a demo on Steam you can check out. Yep. Sorry,
Splatoon
go ahead, Travis.
For adults. Are you playing? What else are you playing? Did you play either of those?
Competitive games.
Competitive games. Okay.
Yeah, I played Rematch. I played a ton of finals this week. You know me. That's what I play.
Okay.
So,
I played a bunch of games this week.
Go for it.
As you guys know, I'm between reviews, and that means I get to try to catch up on everything. So, what games did I beat? I beat Split Fiction. Done. Got that one in the bag.
So I've heard from several people that the last level of that game is like mind blowing. Is that true?
Yeah. So I actually started to get a little bit. I felt like the game was dragging a little bit in the like 2/3 of the way, and I was sort of over it. I was just like, all right, this thing needs to wrap up, because it's one of those games where the story, like, you know how it's going to end as soon as you see the opening. You're like, all right, I know what the ending is going to be like. Let's just get there. And then when you get to the last level, you're like, shit, this should have been the whole game. It reinvigorates you so much. You're just like, oh, dude, this is amazing. Like, it is the ultimate climax of the idea of switching between two realities. And it kind of made me wish that was the premise for the whole game, because it is so incredibly creative and mind-blowingly good. It is a fantastic finale, but I do think they went a little bit long with how long they spend on the build up to that. It was very good, really good game. Probably 9 out of 10 would be my grade there. I'm also most of the way through South of Midnight, which I know I think both of you guys bounced off because of combat.
No. I beat it. I liked it a lot.
You did? Okay, cool.
I was very disappointed in it.
The combat is quite bad, but I'm getting through it anyway, and I'm like 2/3 of the way through the game, and I'm really liking it. The music is fantastic, and it just has like all those problems of like a AA game, where like it's got some technical issues here and there, and then the combat is just, it's never gonna be all that interesting. I am playing on the hardest difficulty, which at first was a little challenging, and then it just became like not hard at all, like pretty quickly. So yeah, that's been fun to play. What else am I catching up on? What other games are on my list of games that I have? Oh yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm playing that one, the game I never beat, that I'm getting back on. Kingdom Come 2. I'm still like, I'm on the second map, Ains. I think I told you that. I'm not sure. And I'm working my way through that. Did you ever beat it? Did you get through it?
I haven't beat it. No.
Damn, okay.
I'm
gunning for it.
Yeah, I'd say I'm about 75% of the way through. I've got the second map almost fully uncovered. Nice. And I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I've done a lot. I just I keep wanting to go back to it, and then I just get distracted.
And then the other one is Expedition 33. So I'm trying to like hit all my bases for being able to talk about Game of the Year stuff. So got Split Fiction done. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I really want to finish. Expedition 33, I'm gonna get through, just a matter of time. And then with Death Stranding 2, I've got all my Infinity Stones. I'm working my way through it. So a little bit of catching up. As you guys know, I don't get to choose which games I play. And so sometimes that puts me in an awkward position of like, I haven't played the biggest games because I don't get to review them. And I'm sort of just like trying to catch up when I can. But I finally have had, I think, 4 uninterrupted days. I thought it was going to be a full week, but I ended up doing a preview earlier this week. Have you guys heard of Sea of Remnants?
Are you kidding me right now? Do you listen when I talk, Travis?
Oh, what? When did you say this?
What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, Ains?
It was recently, because I was like, we just talked about that, and I'm looking up exactly because I haven't played it, but it's like
it's not out.
Well, Hoeg hasn't played it either.
Yeah, no, Sea of Remnants.
No, but it was
whenever our show was that we talked about all of the Summer Games Fest shows, I talked about how the Sony State of Play was one of my favorite shows.
Yes.
And one of the things I called out was the trailer for Sea of Remnants, which looked like awesome art and piracy. And I'm super excited about it. So tell me how awesome it is,
you
Travis.
talked about Skull and Bones. It is
Damn
in
it.
its current state not very awesome, Hogue. I regret to inform you.
Well,
It is the build that I played was extremely early. But it is one of those games where I played it for about 6 hours and I still am not any closer to really knowing what it is as a game. It's got strange like MMO design with like one of those towns with a million different vendors that you don't understand like what they do type of thing. And then where you're like, okay, that's a little confusing. And then it's got turn-based combat as
That's
a
what it looked
multiplayer
like.
game. But the turn-based combat is very basic, at least in its current form. Tons of technical bugs. It also has no English voice acting right now, so I was playing it in Mandarin, which is its own kind of problem. And the subtitles were not helpful. Subtitles were written by somebody who does not speak English as a first language for sure. So it almost felt like they were like AI generated some of the subtitles, which possibly was literally true as like as a temporary measure. Yeah, I'm interested in this one because, as you point out, the art style and world building were really interesting, and the sections I played were really hilarious and over the top. And I could tell, even though some of the stuff was lost in translation, that they had a lot of like, it was just a very stylish game. It kind of reminded me of Persona 5 in terms of the really interesting menus and graffiti everywhere. And it had like a very interesting punk aesthetic. You also play puppets for some reason. I don't really know why everybody's a puppet. They don't explain that, but you're a puppet pirate. And
Everyone in the game is a puppet?
everyone's a puppet. Yeah, everyone's a puppet. Yeah, exactly. You just have to go with it. It's like, all right, we're all puppets. We live in this world of where everybody's a pirate. We're running around, and it's a co-op game and also an MMO and also turn-based, which I don't know how that combines with the MMO. And then they introduced party members at one point. And they were like, oh yeah, there's also 300 plus party members, each of which you can do social links with. And I was like, what is this? And then it also has boat mechanics that are not turn-based, that are just, you just get on a boat and you shoot cannonballs. So it's got that to it as well. And so every 30 minutes of this game, I was just like, huh? Like, I don't understand what this game is. Like, how is this going to come together?
That's
and
fair.
I still do not really know how it's going to come together. It's like 15 different ideas. None of them are very well polished at this point. The only thing that I can say without question this game is going to do well is its art and style is like crazy off the charts. Like, it's such a stylish game. I'm just I'm wondering how it's all going to come together, because it's a lot of stuff and none of it was really built out. And frankly, I'm really surprised they let me play this build, because I'm used to playing early builds, but even by that metric, this game felt really early. Like, it felt like well pre-alpha. Like, if I were a game developer, and I believe in showing footage, letting people play your game as soon as possible. But even if I were on a game development team, I probably would be like, let's do like 1 or 2 more passes before letting anybody see this. I was really surprised to let me play it.
Okay.
Highlight of like something that happened in the game, there's like a moment where you find this thief, and he has stolen a banana that he didn't know belonged to a giant gorilla, and the gorilla is beating on him, and you have to do a boss fight, turn-based boss fight, where you are trying to take out the gorilla before he kills the guy that he's beating on. You're like trying to save him. It's a way to get like access to this vendor. And this sequence is really over the top, obviously, because it's a guy getting the crap beat out of him by a gorilla, and all of the animations are really over the top, and it's just really funny. And then when you beat the gorilla, he slinks away in like the most hilarious, like, you know how turn-based works where everybody's in a line. He's like standing next to the gorilla, and when you have the gorilla distracted, he just starts going like, and like sneaks off screen, and that's how he gets away. And then you're like, cool, mission done, I'm gonna take my loot and go back home. And on your way back to the island, the gorilla shows up again, captaining a boat, and decides to fight you on a boat this time. Same gorilla, he's just out with beef. And then you have to engage in a ship-based pirate cannon battle against the gorilla, who's still mad at you because you beat him back on the island. And it is really funny. And then I think that part of the game is trying to teach you that you die in the game and it's okay. It's kind of got, I don't want to say Souls-like, but it's got like a thing where it's like roguelike. It's like roguelike. It's sort of like death is expected, but you get to keep some of your stuff when you die. It's trying to teach you that, and you're supposed to lose the fight. I won the fight, and then the way that they justify that is they show your characters cheering, and then just like a rock falls out of the sky and crushes your boat, and you die anyway. And that's like how they do the tutorial. And so there were certain moments like that where you're just like, wow, this game is really silly and ridiculous, and I love that. I just don't know if all of the things it's going for, I don't even really know what it's going for. Like, it's just such a early build, so many weird conflicting ideas that I don't know how are going to work. Like, I legit am still stuck on how do you do multiplayer turn-based games. Like in that traditional Persona style, like obviously there's Baldur's Gate and stuff, but it just feels really weird to think of an MMO with turn-based. Yeah, I don't really know how this game is going to work. But it's got some cool ideas, and it was a very early build. It is supposed to come out next year, which makes me a little scared. To me, it feels a little farther out than that. It'd probably get delayed, would be my guess. But yeah, I played it. I have access to a build with a whole bunch of content. I can continue to play more if I want. I'm just not allowed to talk about anything past the first intro. But yeah, it's a weird game.
Is it the studio's first game? Do you know?
I don't know.
It is.
I don't know. I will tell you, it is a Chinese studio, and it's one of those games. This is a little insider baseball, but every once in a while they'll ask me to download a special launcher to a game. It's one of those things you have to download, like a Chinese made launcher that's extremely invasive. And as soon as I downloaded it, I was like, this is malware. My computer's going to break. This feels really bad. And yeah, like part of the reason I think this game is just so early is the reason I previewed it is because they gave it to somebody else and they tried to load it up on their computer. And then they found out that the game currently doesn't support AMD graphics cards, and their PC was AMD. And so then McCaffrey reached out to me and was like, your computer's an NVIDIA, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I need you to preview this game because it only accepts NVIDIA graphics cards in this build. Like, that's just that's so early. It just feels so early to me, guys. And honestly, you should be afraid of that 2026 release date if they're going to stick to it, because they have a lot of work to do on this one. I think it was very early.
Well, I mean, that's unfortunate to hear, but it makes sense. What I reacted to from the trailer was that style you talked about. So
yeah, I mean, it has that. No doubting that it has that. And I'll be interested to see once the English voice acting, how much of that translates, because it was very weird reading you can see it in my preview, but some of the sentences, like if you actually look and read them, you're like, wait, what is it? It would give me like dialogue options. And the question would be like, what is truth if bad is good? And I'd be like, okay, that translation's wrong. And then the two options I would have would be no, I hate it, and yes, this is true. And I'm like, what I don't even know the question. Like, what dialogue option am I making here? So it was very bizarre to play, but also kind of made it more interesting because I was like, I don't even know what they're saying. It's kind of, it adds a little bit of mystery. Yeah, it was fun.
It'd be great for releases, and that's the same.
It could be, honestly. I at the beginning I was like, maybe it's intentional. Maybe the world is supposed to be that weird. And then I started seeing more of the dialogue, and I was like, okay, this is just poorly translated. Got it. It was to the point where I was just like, I don't even know what they're asking me, and they're asking me to make a choice, multiple choices, and I was like, I hope these don't have consequences because I don't understand the questions at all. But yeah, watch my preview. It's pretty funny.
Cool. We got a super chat from Mr. Don Lionheart.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Good day, all. Have you all heard of this game, Infinite Wealth? It's huge. Played for 32 hours before unlocking job switching. Bananas.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite games of the year.
Yeah, we need more turn-based games.
I need to play it more. I played it, bought it at release. I beat the first one, loved it, right?
First one's so good.
Yeah, and I just fell off of it. Damn.
It's also on my backlog. I think I'm in like the final 2 chapters, so I just have to go back and finish that one.
They're big games, man.
Yeah, we'll see how long this.
The overarching plot of Infinite Wealth is not as strong as Like a Dragon.
I figured that might be the case, but it sort of felt like it was meandering a little bit. But also, the first game meandered in the middle and then ended up concluding really strongly. So maybe this will be the same. I don't know. I need to see the ending.
Thank you, Don. Keep at it. And that's Bonanza, by the way. Thank you.
Bonanza.
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 All right, boys. Well, I figured we would talk about, there wasn't a whole lot of news this week. Death Stranding's release, obviously, a bunch of Switch stuff. So I figured we talk about second half of the year. We are at tail end of June. And because of Summer Game Fest and all the summer stuff, we have a bunch of release dates now. And I think Grand Theft Auto moving. We have a bunch of release dates in the coming months for more games than I actually realized when I sat down to do this. So I figured we could talk through this. We can kind of talk through our most anticipated, but there's a lot of games still to come this year, which I'm hyped about. So this list is pretty wild, but let's get into it. So I want to ask you about this one, Hoeg, and I have some friends who play this too, but College Football 26. I know last year was this huge hubbub about college football returning, and it sold. I think it's the best-selling sports game of all time, if I remember correctly. Like, it blew the doors off in terms of sales.
It was gone for like a decade. I mean, that's a lot of pent-up sales.
Exactly. So is the hype still there for the annual Madden-style release now for this type of product?
I can't speak to that entirely because I don't travel in those circles much. I think it will sell well. I think it will be popular. Yeah. I don't expect it to be as popular as the return of college football. And I think 25 turned off at least a few people because it's almost a completely different model of football than Madden. So there'll be hope for improvements. And then I think it'll be, what do the sports-focused reviewers and critics say about improvements on this particular title? Because they're already going through the preview cycle of the people that love college football are on my timeline talking about the changes and how the plays are designed differently and the various things that are happening there. But it's very similar to that Madden cycle, which is like, I can't tell whether I would care that much about what you're describing. I'd have to feel it first.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's obviously out in July here. We've got Tony Hawk 3 and 4, which we've talked about, remake, which I'm very pumped for. I love the Tony Hawk games.
Those will be fun.
Yeah, it'll just be a good time.
There were some new characters they added. I can't remember in the trailer.
Michelangelo.
Doomslayer.
That's it. Yes, it was Michelangelo. Yeah, during the Xbox showcase. Yeah, I'll definitely be a Ninja Turtle for sure.
Yeah, it's that's gonna be a good one.
That's a good lore dump. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donatello. Thank you.
You dork.
Used to be when I was a kid, it was Leonardo just because he was blue, and blue is my favorite color.
Nice.
But I sadly
that is a classic kid reason.
Yeah. Nowadays, I probably have to agree with Hoeg. It's Donatello.
I'm gonna go with Michelangelo on this one.
The goofy one. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he's fun.
He's the best. He's the best.
Yeah,
he gets it. He knows what's up. He realizes that he is a teenager and a turtle and a ninja and a mutant, and that's too many things. And I think he sees deeply into life.
Oh, fair enough. I'll take that journey with you.
Have you guys read Ronin, the comic book?
I have not.
No. Oh my god.
I do have the original.
You guys are such TMNT casuals. I know I say that, you guys. I know I say that every episode, but like, you guys are such basic turtle bitches, you know? You guys,
sir, those turtles came out before you were even born, so watch your mouth.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the 80s, right?
Yes. And I have the original TMNT comics, the originals, which was a limited series, and when they were all red bandanas before they had to color them out because people would get confused.
Okay, but I was, I think, alive during those live action movies because I remember seeing those as a kid. Well, I was very young.
Oh, you were also a big Vanilla Ice fan, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, go Ninja, go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Yeah, I obviously, I actually rewatched those movies last year with Dee because she had never seen them, and they kind of hold up. Honestly, there's a couple shots.
They're fun, goofy. They're like fun, goofy.
There's a couple shots where the turtles open their mouths and you can see the people's faces inside. The actors.
Those were cool suits.
Those are scary frames. But other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I love the show.
Shout out to the original NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was a hugely popular. Well, hold on, hugely popular game at the time. Every kid played it, but that game was a mess. And so everyone played it because they loved the turtles, but the game itself was what's happening here?
I will not shout that out. That was actively harmful to a young Hoeg's self-esteem.
I think not just you.
Sounds like my type of game.
Yeah.
You would be very animated about some of the design choices in the Turtles.
Oh,
It's a
I
mess
love
of a game. Yeah.
I'm sad I missed that.
So we get Tony Hawk, we get Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which I'm very excited for. It showed very well at Summer Game Fest, and I should be reviewing that or helping to review it. So pumped about that
I'm
one.
not reviewing that one, unfortunately. I was supposed to be on it, but somebody snaked it from me.
They stole it. They had 6 stations at Summer Game Fest, and people were loving it. So I don't know. I'm pretty hyped about that one. I think it may do really
I'll be
well.
honest. I really am rooting for this because obviously we have a lot of Souls likes, and this one feels like it's trying to do something different. But when I previewed it at GDC Ains, I swear I was the only positive preview that entire. Like I was reading online, I was like, "Damn!" Like nobody is stoked for this except for me. So I hope I hope it breaks through. But I think it has a pretty good chance of. What was that game? Was it last year? The Souls like that was also kind of Asian worlds
Wo
that
Long?
people forgot about. Wo Long. I think there's a chance it's going to get lost. Like
or
Wukong. I think it's
Wukong sold extremely well.
Yeah, not Wukong. Wukong's the monkey
Wolong.
one. I'm talking about Wo Long, the one everybody forgot about like a week after it came out. That one. I'm worried that this is going to become like that.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's hard for me to keep these names separate in my head.
Yeah, and Wolong and Wu, damn it, Blackman Wukong, Wolong and Wukong are very different games. Too. They play very differently, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, that's July as well. Obviously, Donkey Kong. Shout out to Bonanza. We know is coming, and then also this Switch 2 version of Super Mario Party Jamboree. I think we mentioned that last week. So some big releases for the Switch 2 in July, and then Ninja Gaiden Ragebound as well, which if you're a classic Ninja Gaiden fan, seems to hit all the marks. It's previewing very positively, so that comes out next month as well.
What is that game? Because that's not Ninja Gaiden 4. What is it?
No, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is a classic 2D hand-drawn looking Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, they're giving it the old Prince of Persia,
but not to be confused with Shinobi 3.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which comes out in August, the next month.
I'm always talking about Art of Vengeance.
The
I have
Art
no
of
idea
Vengeance.
what this is.
Well, I'll talk about it. So we move to August. We've got Mafia the Old Country, which I know quite many of us are excited for. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. We've got Hellblade 2 going to the PS5, and we've got Black Myth Wukong going to the Xbox. So more players get to play games from last year, which is always good.
Unless it's Hellblade 2. So sorry,
actually,
Sony fans.
Never.
I was going to see if I could get past that without you mentioning it. I like Hellblade 2.
Actively bad. It's all right.
Really?
I liked it.
Actively bad.
It's very shiny. That impresses people. It's not a good game.
It is gorgeous.
It was okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
I would say
what
it's
it is.
Middling. I don't think it's actively bad though.
What was I going to say? Dying Light the Beast. So I think I mentioned this in our Summer Game Fest rundown, but they're basically calling this Dying Light 3. And I mentioned Dying Light 2 let me down quite a bit. Dying Light the Beast, Alex played it. Me, Ray, Alex were all there with the dev checking it out. It looks fantastic, and I think it's going to be quite good. It impressed me way more than when I first played Dying Light 2. So I would definitely check this out if you're into that universe or style of game. Yeah.
What if you're not?
If you're not, there's probably other games.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard of them. Can you name them all? Oh, you like video games? Name all the games. You left off some, by the way, some ones like all the stuff I'm reviewing.
You do this every time we do this, Travis. Every time I do a rundown, you're like, you left off. Do you want me to mention 500 games? I can't do that.
Like, what about like Wildgate? That's a pretty big one, right? That's July. Weren't you excited?
Go to your heart's content. Talk about it.
Right. I mean, you can read my preview.
Quite the contribution.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm over here. I'm chilling, dude.
Yeah.
Why didn't
it's almost like you can add games to this rundown, like we've talked about that before.
Why don't you talk about Destiny 2's new upcoming expansion, The Edge of Fate?
I'm good, but you're
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah, me too, actually. I also don't care about that one.
Gears Reloaded, we've talked about that. So first time PlayStation get an official Gears of War game is in August. We get Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. The remaster of that comes out in August as well.
Yeah, Delta.
Yep. And then funny enough, you're just mentioning
July, right? Grounded 2.
Say it again.
Grounded 2 is also July, isn't it?
The early
In
access.
preview.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yep. And then Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which you just mentioned. So I wanted to mention this one because anyone who knows our good friend over at Iron Lords, Cog, who I think almost all of our community, right?
I've never heard of him.
So we hung out a lot at Summer Game Fest, and I had lunch with him right after he got out of playing Shinobi, and he even had the shirt on because Cog, he's a gigantic Shinobi fan.
Yeah.
Like he's probably the biggest Shinobi fan I've known in my years, and I'm a Sega guy. And I was talking to him about the game at lunch, and I was asking him, I swear to God, he almost had tears in his eyes. Like he was so happy and so joyful about this game and how much of an homage it pays to Shinobi as a franchise and the classics from the Genesis era and the older era. So if you are a Shinobi fan, an old school Sega kid, whatever, be paying attention to this one.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Good. Cog always has tears in his eyes, though. It's just how he is. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh my God, did you just play the new Shinobi game? He's like, nah.
So far on this rundown, I'm going from Death Stranding 2 to Bonanza to Delta. I know Mafia comes out in between those. I'm probably not going to play Mafia until the fall. Would be my guess.
I thought that. Didn't we talk earlier? It was like one of your most anticipated games.
I'm really looking forward to Mafia, but my guess is Bonanza is going to take up my gaming time.
Here's the thing about Hoeg. He doesn't like Italians. And he's been on that for a long time.
We have tried to talk to him offline about this, guys.
We have.
We haven't made good strides. We're trying.
Yep.
That's why Mafia 3 is my favorite Mafia. You got me, Travis.
Yeah, he was like, oh, the one where Travis. He's like, oh, the one where I don't have to play an Italian. Sweet.
You kill a lot of Italians in Mafia 3.
Yeah, you kill a lot of Italians.
This is going to be our short for the week, by the way. People will never know. Yeah, that's surprising though. But I am happy, as we joked already. I'm happy to hear you so hyped for Bonanza now because,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to guess. I'm trying to guess at my timelines here, and I think looking at this, Bonanza is going to take up that gaming slot pretty completely for a good chunk of time.
I'm just looking at the IGN calendar right now, and I'm like, I'm not going to play any of these games you guys are talking about. Like, my list is so different from yours. Oh, man.
Well, this is just kind of the notable releases, I think, our audience. And, knowing what I know, what gets read on our site, these are the things I'm mentioning. But there's so many other games. Like, it's ridiculous. So we get to September, and probably the dumbest name of a game that'll release this year is Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
Oh, I see.
On the beach. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, which, if you know the history of this franchise, is ridiculous title. Regardless, I love these games, and I'm excited for it.
That's not any different than Resident Evil Biohazard, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that probably took the cake before then. But
Everybody Golf maybe there's like Charlie Sheen.
I always enjoy when Travis has the kernel of a joke, can't decide what it should be, and then just says the elements.
You guys like Hot Shots?
I haven't thought of Hot Shots in a long, long time.
I'm just trying to show you guys.
I haven't thought of it even after I was watching it.
I know old stuff too, you guys.
Yes, you do know some old stuff.
Yeah. Hot Shots.
I do love this franchise, so I am looking forward to its return.
Me as well, and it releases on the Switch day and date with PlayStation too.
Well, because it's actually made by Bandai, right?
Published by, right? Or is it developed by? Yes, but I don't know which one.
I think they're making it. I think Sony licensed out some of their less used IP, but I will check.
Okay. No, I mean, regardless, I'm just glad it's coming back. I think last year I said, man, where's the hell is my new Hot Shots game? So this is great. Borderlands 4, we talked at length about with Travis's preview and stuff. His
remember
stupid NDAs, which is ridiculous.
Speaking of which, tomorrow I'm recording a section. What do you call it? An interview, Q&A with IGN, where I'm going to be answering all of your Borderlands 4 questions.
Wow.
So
cool.
If you want to have your questions answered by somebody who played the game for 6 hours 2 months ago,
Ask me anything.
Ask me anything. I'll tell you all the stuff that I remember.
It's a great pitch.
To mention. Yeah, that is a great pitch. I will watch it actually, but I wanted to mention this one. I think I mentioned it with the SGF show, Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, a very long title. This one is Bandai Namco as well. It is a roguelike in the vein of Hades, and it has some unique things to it, including one of the main characters you can pick. So it has multiple main characters you can pick with different skills and stuff, classes. One of them is basically an adult kung fu fish, like koi looking fish.
Sure.
Which I think was the coolest character. That's the one Alex and I picked.
That interaction was very funny. A koi looking fish, and Hoeg's reaction was sure. Such a funny.
So, this is the segment where I wanted to just say, if you cover gaming and you go to game shows, and Travis can speak to this, you get weird merch sometimes. And you just get things that really you're like, what is this? Like, why did you choose to make this for your game? And I have one of those things with me for this game that you got to bear with me on this. But here's what they gave me after previewing Toa and Guardians of the Sacred Tree. Give me 1 second.
Oh,
I would love it if he never came back.
Drum roll.
And not just to the show. Like his family was like, "Where is Ains?" He's gone.
Like the show merch was just a portal to another world.
If he never comes back, you have to swear to do a podcast with me where we try to find out what happened to him. So
ready?
Hundreds of episodes. All right, here we go.
I don't understand what I'm looking at.
I'm a fish.
An eyeball? Oh, you're a fish. Oh, I love that.
Oh,
wait, why do you have an eye on the back of your head?
I'm a koi, man. I'm looking all over the place.
Kois don't have eyes back there, dude. That's crazy. Put it on right.
Dude, look at the title. That's how you're supposed to wear it.
I think that's supposed to be on the side.
It is not. I promise you
that the eyes are in the right spot. Turn it.
No.
Ains, you're killing me.
I'm telling you, that's how you're supposed to wear it. Look at the thing.
Humor me.
Look, it doesn't go like that, you weirdo.
That's the wrong way. No, I want the eyes here.
No,
on the side of your head. No.
I don't know that I can improve on the content here, folks.
A little more.
But
there we go. Now that's correct. See? That looks good.
One thing I did want to laugh about here was that I remembered the Toa trailer because my daughters were so bored watching all of these video game trailers that I was making them watch that one of the things they started to do was see if they could count how many life trees or sacred trees or trees of life were mentioned in these games. And there's a startling number of giant life trees in video games, just as an FYI. It was in the teens.
Some people will say that those are the crabs of 2025.
I'm going to fight over those trees. But yes, and this thing, you can probably kind of see how tight it is. It literally squeezes the blood out of your head.
So here's my question. Why is Toa on this list? You're talking about all the big hits. Is this game really that big and I'm just totally out of the loop? Because I've barely heard of this.
No, it's published by Bandai Namco. So it was on their kind of bigger list. The reason I mentioned it today was because of this.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a plug for your hat.
It was a plug for the hat. Yes. When else am I going to get to wear this?
Well, Hoeg will allow it. It's made by Bandai Namco and not Italians, so he is for it.
Oh boy.
Anyway, what else we get in September? We get Silent Hill F, probably one of my most anticipated games for the rest of the year because I love horror games. That one looks awesome.
Drop an F in the chat for Silent Hill F.
For Silent Hill. They also have talked about the design of that game having more action than the remake of 2, which, The action's kind of clunky in 2, so we'll see how it feels in Silent Hill F. But I love the themes of it. It feels like the Garage or the Ring type setup for that game, which is cool to me. And then Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. I know some people are absolutely over the moon for this. I'm in the same as you, Hoeg.
I like Final Fantasy Tactics. I just have not been impressed by what I've seen so far of this new one.
What's wrong with it?
Could not agree more. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not exciting.
That's something wrong with it, bro. Why isn't it exciting?
I gotta take this off.
Show your work.
I thought Ains was going to peel his skull back there for a second.
What if he said, I got to take this off, and then peeled off his face? Underneath, he's a different person. I got to take this off.
Okay, so I've done my research here while we've been talking about fish hats. And I can tell you that the developer of the new Hot Shots game is a company called Hoeg, that most recently is known for Disney Tsum Tsum Festival.
Makes sense.
Never heard of that either. What's a Tsum Tsum?
I'm not sure what a Tsum Tsum is, so.
Well, they're having a festival just for it, so you must be way out of the loop on that one.
I'm sure somebody in our chat knows what a Tsum Tsum is.
Yep. Tell us.
You would assume so.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, great game.
Amazing game when it released.
It is a good game. Yeah.
They talked about like a remaster coming, and then they showed it, and I'm like, it didn't do anything for me. It doesn't look like they've done much of anything with it. Like, it just looks very basic.
PlayStation does that, and they sell them off the shelves.
Well, and then it came out that they didn't include all the War of the Lions content because they've already remastered this once, folks. And they're not including all the bonus content from there. Like, Square Enix makes weird choices. This seems to be one of them. I want to be really excited about this. I will undoubtedly get it on some platform, probably the Switch, but I'm not excited about the prospect.
What do you think about Square Enix recognizing the waning power of Final Fantasy? Hoeg, I want to hear your opinion on that one.
I think that desperate gaming outlets look for things to pull from investor calls that don't make a lot of sense out of context, and that Square said very little that related to any of the headlines that I saw about what they were reported to have said.
Interesting. I don't know even what outlets reported on it. I just saw people talking about it online, and I was like, oh, interesting. Somebody said
there were a number of headlines, and it was about Final Fantasy, and it was about turn-based role-playing games in general, and most of it were pulled out of context because that's what these stories do. Like, in an investor call situation, mostly you're prompted for answers, and then you pull the answers, and you say like they're making some kind of policy statement that is really just an answer to an investor question. So I don't think Square Enix is moving in any particular direction on Final Fantasy or role-playing games. I do think they've got an issue now that 14 isn't holding up the company as much as it used to. So I hope that they can find a direction. I am saddened by the lack of success that Final Fantasy 16 seems to have had in the broader population, because it's a tremendous game and you should play it if you're watching this. But Square Enix has been run by crazy people for a long time.
So true.
Yeah.
So brave.
They have a new CEO as of last year, was it? If I recall correctly.
They're called SqueEOs in Square Enix.
That time of the show, Hoeg. He's doing it.
It's earlier. It's earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
I know. Every day we move farther from God.
I thought, unless I'm misremembering, but I think my hope at the time was that there would be some shifting away from some of this craziness over time. But
well, I think the big takeaway that I heard from this particular set of statements from Square Enix was that they understand that the model that they had tried for a number of years, which was kind of throw out all of these double or even single A games and just hope that they find an audience, was not working, because there's just a deluge of games and there's a real lack of findability. So a lot of the stuff that I like, that I've talked about in Hoeg's notes or otherwise, the dungeon encounters kind of level of Square Enix game, it appears that they're getting away from, and they're going to try to move specifically to their pillar games on a more regular cadence. Now, they say that kind of thing a lot, so I don't know whether they'll get there or not, but they do appear to have the right feel for my understanding of what's happening with the role-playing games. I don't know what's going to happen. I know that they were getting pinged by their investors essentially about, hey, why didn't you make Expedition 33? And they don't have a great answer for that. So we'll see what they do in the future.
Yeah. Well, that takes us into October, which is probably one of the biggest months. I mean, no surprise at that time of the year, I suppose. But so we get Directive 8020, which is the next, we've talked about that, right? The next, is it Supermassive?
Supermassive, yep.
Yeah, which I played at Summer Game Fest, and I enjoyed, at least the little section I played of it.
What is this one?
This is a Dark Pictures game?
Yeah, it's like the next movie game. But the section I played, you were basically running and hiding from this big monster.
Weird.
And
they've never done that before.
They've never done that.
We're treading new ground.
It felt more intuitive, right? It felt more like an actual game rather than like Resident Evil 1 trying to control it. You know what I mean? So I hope that is true of the entire experience. The actual narrative and kind of the facial animations and all that were really strong as well. So hopefully
that's what they're good at.
Directive 8020.
Yep.
Sequel to Order 66.
Ghost of Yotei, obviously a big one, and PlayStation's biggest for the year, coming out in October as well. Pretty pumped about that one. I'm actually more excited for that one than I think I would have been, given that I was not over the moon with Tsushima. I liked it, but I think we've talked about that quite a bit here, right? Like,
I'm hoping this will be the Death Stranding 2 like refinement, because I think Tsushima is a little overloved based on what it is.
Me too.
I really love Tsushima, so I think I have the right level of love, but that's all right.
You thought that about Death Stranding 1 too, and guess what?
did. No, open my eyes. My eyes have been lifted. I really love Death Stranding 1, and one of the things I wanted to say when we were talking about it earlier is that my daughter hears me talking about how great Death Stranding 2 is, how much I'm enjoying every session I play with it, and she wants to play the first one to go into 2, and one of the things I said to her, honest to God, was, I fear I am really going to miss the adjustments and improvements they've made from 1 to 2 when I go back to 1. So I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to play that with you. But like in my head, I'm like, I think that's going to be a little bit painful.
Yeah.
You could have her watch like a recap of 1 and then start right in 2.
No. And I do want to point out, Death Stranding 2 is a fantastic game.
Dude, he shut you down.
I know. He's like, no.
He just treated you like you were Italian, dude. That was crazy to see. That was wild.
Oof, now I know how it feels.
All right, roll a 3. Roll a 3. We got it.
You gotta watch this, Travis. You're gonna build this lore up, and people are gonna believe you.
I'm really excited for that.
I am not. I don't remember what I was even talking about, but thank you. You took me completely off track. I appreciate it.
You
playing
said
Death
no,
Stranding 1 with your daughter.
You're not going to watch.
Oh, yes. No, we're not going to do that. I was going to tell you that Death Stranding 2 has a lot of great things about it. I've already talked about. One thing that is not great is they put a recap of Death Stranding on the front screen.
So bad.
It is the worst recap I have ever seen. It is like the back cover of a book jacket or like a TV guide description of an episode, which is the exact wrong kind of structure to have for telling you what happened in the prequel to the game you're about to play. It's like, and then Sam discovered something that he never thought he would. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I know what you're referencing here from the first game, but what kind of recap is this for what you're going to use as the world building for your second game? It's like they want to sell you Death Stranding 1 and not tell you enough about it.
Because Kojima doesn't even know what he did in Death Stranding 1. That's why.
No, I think he does. It actually did remind me, Hoeg, that I did beat Death Stranding 1. I actually wasn't sure I did, and then when I watched the recap, I was like, "Oh, I remember this." And I watched the recap with Dee because Dee was interested in watching me play the sequel, and she watched the recap and she turned to me after every slide and went, "What what is this? Like, I understand none of this." I was like, "Well, BTs are I had to basically explain. I was like, BTs are ghosts. They're just called beach things because Kojima has to do everything backwards. And, just like explaining each slide. So I had to do my own presenter captions.
Yeah, exactly. You would have to.
Yeah.
And worse than that, like major plot points, major ideas are left with that kind of eliding. And then a secret was discovered. It's like, yeah, great recap. But you're not telling me what that was. What are you hiding? I'm about to play the second game.
Yeah, it is an interesting. They have to walk the line of maybe not spoiling some of the stuff that happens in the first one, but I think
Yeah.
even just skipping that stuff, they do a really bad job establishing the world and the rules and the stuff you need to know to jump right into the sequel. And I had to do a ton of like editorializing to Dee for her to be caught up to any level where she could understand the second one.
Yeah, it strikes me that the recap is trying to sell Death Stranding 1 and or be approachable to like a Twitch streamer covering it on his stream and not immediately lose the sales of somebody that might be interested in the franchise. Like, it's a really weird recap. And usually, if you're going to put a recap on a game like this, you actually describe what happened in the first game. And this one doesn't. It's crazy.
I'm sure you can
17
find a much better
slides
recap on YouTube.
Oh, you definitely can.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know how we got there, but here we are. October, we also get Little Nightmares Enhanced. So this week we did get the Little Nightmares presentation, right, on Little Nightmares 3, which looks fantastic. I'm very excited for as a fan of 1 and 2. And for those who haven't played 1, they're having an enhanced version come out in October as well. So you can play through that if you like to. Little Nightmares 1 and 2 are both excellent. I like 2 even better than 1. And I'm really excited for 3. Looks great.
Good game.
Is that 3 different developers, or were the first 2 the same developer?
First 2 were the same. They were Tarsier Studios, which is doing Reanimal. Is their
Tarsier?
Yeah. In October, we also get Ninja Gaiden 4. Big release out of Team Ninja. We get Outer Worlds 2, which Hoeg will be on day 1. I know it.
I will.
And then I have Game Pass.
I will as well. I think it looks great. We get Arc Raiders finally, which we've talked a lot about here. We thought would be earlier, but still, it comes out tail end of October.
Does that other one you mentioned have a release date?
Exoborn is just 2025 still. They don't have a
Exoborn?
date.
It's the other one he mentioned.
I'm not doing this with you, Travis.
I don't know what Exoborn is.
I talked about it last week. That's probably why.
I see.
Yeah. You were on camera during that conversation.
We don't know that for a fact.
And Dragon Quest 1 and 2. Dragon Quest comes out in October as well. Hoeg, are you excited about this one as you were for 3?
Yes. I don't love the implementation of the HD2D for 3 as much as I hoped I would. So I'm a little less enthused about the other 2.
Just for clarity, am I supposed to remember every game we talk about every week?
Yes.
I think you're just supposed to remember conversations you partook in
it was
early as a week ago.
It was a week ago, dude. Like,
and you're the younger one.
Passed.
Like,
I know, but
come on.
My brain is just a flurry of games. I don't know how you guys I don't even remember the games I reviewed last month. Legit. I probably beat 7 or 8 games last month, and I don't remember. I couldn't name one of them right now. I just legit can't.
I think you need to go to a doctor.
Maybe. Or maybe I just play too many games. You guys ever do that thing where you like go, I'm sure you've done this, Hoeg, where you go back to back and you play like 7 or 8 games and then you start to get them mixed up in your head. You're like, wait, which one had the weird loot system? And I just did it with the Death Stranding thing where I couldn't remember which game I was playing where he blocks like this, but I'm pretty sure it does Death Stranding too.
Yes, I just did that this morning actually, where like in one game I was playing, there was a specific way to get to the map that was weird. And then I was playing the next game and I was trying to figure out how to get to the map. And I'm like, it's got this menu item and it's over here. It's like, that was the last game, you idiot. So yes, I've done that. More frequently, it's like you're playing 2 action games at roughly the same time and they've rotated the buttons in such a way that you are dodging when you mean to block, etc.
The only way I don't get it confused is if I'm playing on different systems. For whatever reason, I don't have that problem where on the PlayStation controller, Nintendo, or Xbox, I forget where the buttons are. If I'm holding the controller, my brain just knows it. But if I'm playing on the same platform, 2 different games that have different controls, that messes me up.
I'll tell you this. The X and Y button on the Nintendo still mess me up because I think of X as the horizontal and Y as the vertical, which is what Xbox does. And in Yakuza 0, like the dancing mini game, you have to hit the specific buttons. Like I'm always a little bit too slow because I have to think, oh yeah, the X is up there. And it drives me nuts. I would love it
every time.
I would love it if Microsoft and Nintendo could just come to some kind of peace treaty, an accord, a detente, and just set the buttons the same. I know that means somebody has to change. Change is good. It'll be okay.
You have to change, right? Because the X being at the top is consensus, right? It's on PlayStation as well. The cross, or the cross is
on the bottom.
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
Triangle. You know what's funny? I didn't even think about this stuff when I'm holding the PlayStation controller. My brain knows where the buttons are.
Yeah,
So it messes me up. Well, especially because a lot of games I play are competitive shooters and stuff. They're pretty standardized nowadays. You know what I mean? Like A jump, X is reload on Xbox. That is. So when I do play something where it's like you got to jump with triangle, it's like what? And it's just endless.
What do you think about the B button being at the bottom on the Nintendo?
It drives me bonkers, which I was just going to mention, by the way, because if you didn't know, on the Switch 2, there's a setting in the OS where you can switch permanently for the console for every game. You can switch A and B. You can reverse.
I couldn't do that because when I hold the Nintendo Switch, my brain knows that the B is there.
I know. I'm just letting you know you can actually do that on this one. And I did it thinking, oh, this will solve my problem. It only
and then
made
your brain just got
it only made it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever switched from inverted to not inverted in your life?
Inverted for life, bro.
I had a period, maybe like 5 or 6 years, where I was inverted, and then I played some string of games where inverted wasn't an option, and my brain switched, and now I'm non-inverted. Have you guys ever done that? Have you guys switched before?
I don't know. One thing that does happen is that the game itself describes standard and inverted differently, especially on the horizontal axis. So one thing I had to realize that I needed to do when I was using anything that used the right stick is that I had to be the camera. I need the game to be reflecting of when I push right, it's the camera swinging right, which makes the image go left. And whatever the game called that, I didn't care. I just needed to be able to move in the direction that I was the camera, up and down, left and right, and that's what I choose. But it's not always standard and it's not always inverted. They do not always name their camera options the same.
Yeah. You're inverted, huh, Ains?
Yeah, I can't even. I had to preview a game. Some game I was given a code for, I previewed, and they didn't have the invert live yet. It didn't work. You know what I mean? I think it was South of Midnight, actually. When I previewed South of Midnight, it was in the menu, but it was grayed out. Like they hadn't implemented it yet. And so I had to do that preview playing non-inverted. And man, oh my God.
You do inverted horizontal controls too?
No. No,
that doesn't make any sense
vertical.
to me.
What's interesting there?
Flying a plane.
What's interesting for me there is that I invert on first person flying and do not invert on third person flying.
Yeah, that's
Whoa. I invert on all flying automatically, but I also do it horizontally because there's something for me when I think of inverted controls. I imagine that like there's a joystick on the back of the character's head, you know? And so when you push down and they look up, but then by that logic, if you push right, they would turn left. And so the fact that you're not doing horizontal means you're just weird, Ains. That's like a weird way to think of it.
Well, because I think it's because when 3D games first started coming out, right, it was exactly as you said. It's like push forward to look down, pull back to look up, because that's how flight sticks started. But horizontal invert was not really a thing. The only option was to the vertical. So you see that in all the games now where you can invert both. But you got to remember, all my shooter chops are from decades ago. So.
On flying games too, they didn't do inverted horizontal.
Not that I can recall. I think you just played it as a flying game, so it was like push down to look forward and pull back. So, but you got to remember how many like tens of thousands of hours I have playing competitive shooters inverted, dude. It's like my mind. It would take forever for me to switch realistically.
Well, that's the thing, right? Even that beat, especially in a competitive environment, even that beat of, I have to think about which way I need to push this is too much.
It's way too much. Yeah.
What about games where like you're non-inverted and then you go into like a ship and then suddenly you have to like switch? Do you guys ever have
I immediately go to the menu and try to correct it.
Travis, didn't you tell us a story about Dee playing Split Fiction with you and you were having a problem with the flying level because she didn't realize that she was inverted?
Yeah, she has a hard time when you get into a plane. I automatically know, like, and in fact, some games don't invert the controls when you get into a plane. And I'm like, what? Why wouldn't you do that? Like, invert it automatically. Obviously, it's a flying part. But as soon as she got in there, she was like, "Wait, I pressed the opposite way." I was like, "Yeah, imagine you got the flight stick. It's like when you're in a plane." And she was like, "I've never flown a plane before." And I was like, "Neither have I." But
Yeah.
we've seen movies, right? Like, you know how it works. Come on. Her brain just didn't get it.
That's like how we know the tank tread controls from like arcade machines and back in
exactly.
Tank controls. Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah. Where were we on this? So that was October. November, I just wanted to mention for you, Hoeg, because I hadn't actually seen this game in a while, but I know you were pumped about it. Anno 117 Pax Romana.
Anno is great.
Yeah, is that the why did I think this game was already out?
I don't know.
Because you're lame.
Fair enough.
I would have mentioned it.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I know we talked about it when they showed
an Anno in the
last
Roman
year.
Empire. It's going to be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
We do love ancient Rome, don't we?
When did Anno announce
it? Was
itself?
a UB forward last year because I was in the audience, but they didn't do a forward this year, so we haven't seen it since last year, I guess.
I think it's still on schedule.
Hoeg, how often do you think of ancient Rome?
I don't know. Fairly
well,
often.
I mean, it depends on Italians. You know what I mean? It's questionable for him.
Do you know the last person to claim that they were the emperor of Rome?
No,
Mussolini.
I'm not a Roman historian, and Mussolini wasn't a Roman.
Yeah, well, he claimed to be the emperor of Rome. He reclaimed that title. I guess you get to do that when you're Mussolini. I don't know.
I mean, if we're just talking about crazy claims, couldn't you name yourself Emperor of Rome, Travis?
Yeah, but he lived in their house. He like put his house back up there. If you go to Rome and you go to the ancient site, they have like all these ancient stuff that survived, and then like Mussolini's house, which is like newish, you know. It's pretty interesting.
No, I'm really looking forward to this. Honestly, Ains, after September and maybe even a little bit before, this winds up being a weaker year for things I personally am interested in the fall. So like it's a great summer for me. Death Stranding 2, Bonanza, Delta. After maybe Borderlands 4, I don't really care that much about everything else that we just talked about.
I thought you were big on Ghost for some reason.
I think Ghost of Yote will be good. I'm not like chomping at the bit.
Okay.
Either way.
Borderlands 4 is probably like what? That's a good question actually. What's your most anticipated game the rest of the year?
Bonanza.
Wow, good for you. Mine would be Borderlands 4 at this point. I think that's the one I'll put the most time into.
I'm gonna go Grand Theft Auto 6
with the surprise shadow drop.
Yeah, dude, if it did, it'd be up there. You guys would be like, "He's a genius. How'd he know?"
I don't think Jeff would be able to keep it quiet if he had that shadow drop.
He'd be like, "Ooh, you have to talk about how I played it early." Ooh.
What is it for real, Travis? When you have your own time that you're not having to play. Doesn't have to be on this list.
High up there. I'm looking at the IGN list. Grounded 2 is pretty high up there.
I just don't know what state that's going to come out in.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I did not like Grounded when I first played it a year before the 1.0.
They added a lot post.
They really did.
I just don't know whether their release next month is this is
real.
super early.
Yeah.
Or we're basically done. I just don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Outer Worlds 2 or Borderlands 4 are probably high up there. They're also the two comedy games. Oh, this list doesn't have. Oh, I need to add that.
I think Little Nightmares 3 is up there for me too. It's a smaller experience, but those games are.
You know what
We're
game?
missing High on Life 2 from this list. I'm going to tell Tom.
Hoeg's very disappointed. What were you going to say, Hoeg?
I was going to say, since Travis was talking about comedy and I didn't do any Hoeg's notes today, I have been playing a game that came out a little while back that was on the Switch sale called Bear and Breakfast, where you're a bear in the forest that opens a bed and breakfast.
Really good game.
It has very funny dialogue. It is a humorous game, and I wanted to mention it to Travis. I didn't know you'd already played it.
Oh yeah, I've played it. D and I played that a while ago.
Bear and Breakfast.
Right. Bear and Breakfast, dude. It's underrated.
Sometimes you play these indie games and you're like, oh, that's hitting better than I thought it would. And Bear and Breakfast is one of those. And I think it's under $10 on the Switch right now.
Is it like a cozy type game? Like, what do you do?
Yes. You're a bear in the forest that gets asked by what amounts to a venture capitalist shark to open a bed and breakfast for humans that want to experience the forest. And so you go and you make different resort locations, you make bedrooms and put decorations out, collect blueprints, do that various cozy game arc while trying to not scare all the people that are in your bed and breakfast because they don't like to see the bear running things. I don't know why. I'm a very pleasant bear.
I don't like to see the bear running things. It's kind of in the same way that they don't like to see the rat cooking the food.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Kind of a Remy situation. A movie I've never seen, but I can reference it. I'm cool.
Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie. You put that in the lore dump.
I've not really seen any Disney movies. Didn't have a childhood. Fun times.
The announcement that Pixar is working on Ratatouille 2 fills me with great sadness.
Why don't they call it Ratatouille?
I didn't know.
I'm mad, and I don't even have a skin in the game here.
By the way, I want to shout out because you alerted me to this one, Hoeg, which I later realized I could have gotten to play and review, but is Ruffy and the Riverside, which launched Friday on a few platforms. But this is in the vein of Banjo-Kazooie. It's kind of got that look and feel and collectathon to it, but it has some unique mechanics where you can like transform the world based on pixels. Like it's all hand drawn. The entire game is hand drawn, so it looks very cool. It seems to be. I saw a few reviews of it from some smaller outlets that seem to be quite positive on it. So
it's very competent.
Cool. Yeah, looks cool. Damn it, there was something else I was going to mention too. Oh, the biggest news this week, which we did not cover, which Travis was hugely excited for, is that leaked on IMDb, if it's to be believed, is Little Big Planet Remastered. Sackboy is coming back, my friend.
Sackboy returns for Travis's soul.
There's a character in South of Midnight that is like a Sackboy-esque character. It's like a hoodoo doll. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah,
I do.
His name is Crouton.
Crouton.
And Crouton scares me.
I think he's kind of meant to.
Yeah,
he's a little creepy, but he's cool. Yeah,
it's the same thing as Sackboy. A horrifying
Awesome,
monster.
man. He's awesome. We got a member comment here for, it looks like me, so let me get this. Big Mad Mo says, shout out to the panel. It's been a while since I asked, but how's Halo, Ains, and what do you think they're going to supposedly show later this year? So for the Halo viewers, the rumor right now is that at the Halo World Championship, which takes place in October, they are going to tease what they've actually been working on for their next project. Is it believable? From what I've seen, and I've kind of pulled myself out of some of these channels, but from what I've seen, yes, it is believable. If they're going to show something, I think it would be exactly that, just a tease of their first full project running in Unreal. The prevailing rumor right now is it's going to be a remake of Halo CE, which will also be released on other platforms. Whether or not that's true, I can't tell you, but that's the rumor. So I do think it's true. I do think that would be a good time to do it. I think that Infinite is getting long in the tooth at this point, and that Halo Studios as a brand and a studio and just Xbox needs to show what's next for Halo. So
thank you for correctly using long in the tooth, by the way.
It makes sense. Have I used it incorrectly?
No, I just keep saying people use it to mean that something is dragging on too long. And I'm like, that's not what that means. It means old. It means old as an elderly. Horses' teeth get long when they get older. God.
Mo says, is Halo CE what we really want? Honestly, I love CE to death.
No,
I don't. Yeah, I'd
it's hard to get excited about.
We want a Halo.
Yeah, I'd rather see.
That's all we care about.
Don't speak for me, sir. I'm a anti Halo 3 Halo fan. There's not many of us, but I'm one of them.
Okay, you can be an anti Halo 3 Halo fan, but if you were going to remaster any game at this point, which one would you pick?
The one without the zombie plant.
Yeah, if you Gravemind. His name's Gravemind.
I'm not a big fan of 3.
If you don't know, in all seriousness, Travis, it's basically been remastered. It's 4K 60 on Halo MCC now. It was upgraded. So like,
yeah, but it's still, you're still running the old assets and stuff. Like the 2 remaster looks better than 3.
The 2 remake is awesome, but people forget the 2 remake is like 12 years old now. 13 years old.
You can play 1, 2, and then you go to 3, and you're like, actually, probably 1 remaster looks probably worse than 3. But yeah, I played through them not that long ago, and 3 felt like incomplete compared to how good all the other games look with the remastered versions.
I think the Gears series has that problem the worst. It does Gears sometimes feel like Microsoft like has a short attention span. Like they start these projects
they just remastered the first one, right?
They remastered it years ago, and now they're remaking it again for August, as we said. But they need to do 2 and/or 3. 2 is like beloved, and 2 has far better multiplayer and maps than 1. And they're just remastering 1 again. I'm like, what are you doing?
I didn't realize that was a separate game, by the way. And then I got a message from Xbox that was like,
hold on. Thanks. Gears 1 and 2?
No, Gears 1 and remaster and whatever the new one is.
Oh, it's Reloaded.
Reloaded or whatever. Yeah. Like I didn't realize they were separate games. I was like, oh, it's probably just them promoting it because it's coming to PlayStation. Like that's what I thought. Like it was the original remaster or whatever. And the way I found out it was a different game is because Xbox sent me a message. It was like, hey, thanks for being such a great Gears fan over the year. Here's a free copy of the
new they sent codes out
Gears remaster. And I was like, that's a different game? I thought I already owned and played this game like not that long ago. I mean, how old is the last Gears remaster? Because I feel like I just played that with D.
So Gears 1 released with the 360, right, in 2005. And then the remaster was like 2013, maybe? I'm guessing.
Is it really that old?
Want to look it up?
No way.
Look it up. Oh, it's old.
Wow.
Sorry for the typing. Ultimate Edition is what it's called. The original remaster is called the Ultimate Edition.
Not so ultimate, as it turns out.
The Ultimate
Edition.
Which
came out in 2015, so a decade.
It's a 10-year. Wow. But they still haven't done 2.
They've never done 2, and 2's the better game, top to bottom. I'll take that argument. I mean, some people like the horror more in 1, but 2, in my opinion, has one of the best campaigns in Gears. It has better multiplayer than 1, and it has what are considered the best maps in multiplayer, similar to Halo 2, in Gears as well. Like, give me a 2 remake. I don't know why they're doing 1 again.
Yeah, I can really only talk about campaign because I didn't play much multiplayer, but I remember I didn't like 2 as much as 1 because the atmosphere and the vibes were much worse. And I also felt that it was emotionally cloying. Like, it's very, very on the nose with how it tries.
I was just going to say it is on the nose, but I like it.
But it's a good game.
And I think part of that was because after Gears got really popular when it first launched, it was considered the bro shooter, right? And so I think they kind of swung the pendulum to have some emotion in the second one on the nose, like you said. So
that would be your streamer name, if you're a streamer, bro shooter.
Well, and I remember after playing 1 that I never felt like they got to the level of like the Mad World commercial. So I viewed 2 as trying to do some of that, but it didn't succeed for me.
2 I like because if you're into Gears as a franchise, right? Like the lore and the characters and stuff, 2 does a lot. Like you actually go to the Locust headquarters, you see like the Theron Guard for the first time. There's like a lot of cool firsts in Gears 2. It also introduced Dizzy and it introduced Ty, and you know what I mean? Like those are core characters in Gears. Cool. So it was very good in that regard.
I remember I got a little remote control car from Best Buy with my Gears purchase, like a little Gears car.
Yeah. I have that in Rocket League. Can use it in Rocket League, but anyway, sorry for the detour there, but yeah, I am frustrated that they're doing Gears 1 again and not at least 2 and 3, or do the trilogy. You know what I mean? Do something that kind of pulls them together, because that is a contained trilogy. Like the story is the 3 games. It's frustrating. Anyway, speaking of Xbox, I guess that's a segue, right? So we're not going to really talk about it too much here today, but big rumors this week that seem valid. That Xbox is doing some pretty major restructuring. We don't know the details yet, but that we're going to see this week, as early as tomorrow as we're recording this, some layoffs and kind of movement and changes in the Xbox organization and structure. So probably talk more about that next week when we actually know what happened. But we were talking a little before the show, and I know we talked extensively about this at the time, but in terms of how big Xbox as a publisher is now, how many studios, how many people, the acquisitions, everything, I'll just sadly say it's not really unexpected. That doesn't mean that it's good, but I guess we'll see what happens.
And if you're ever wondering if a Microsoft rumor is true, the rule of thumb is that it is always true without any exceptions.
Well, there's a lot to go on this one. The first and foremost being that it is the end of their fiscal year. This is when you make these kind of changes. And so that makes a lot of sense. I think the reason we can't talk about it much now is because we don't know the details. I expect that most of the cuts that we're going to see described at Xbox are going to be back-end executive functionality of a business unit more than the creative side of things. I think there will be culling on the creative side, but I think the biggest numbers you're likely to see are on the accountants and the lawyers and the executives. Now, that might be wrong. That might be wrong by this time tomorrow, because we don't know what we don't know on this. But that's what I'm expecting here, because you do have the major merger purchases. You do have a lot of redundant executive type positions from the things that they've purchased. And on top of that, you have the complete change in business model from when Xbox generationally would have started and where they are right now. It's clear that they're moving in the software direction even more than they were at the start of this generation. And it's not unexpected for when you have those kinds of business changes, you have essentially extra limbs that you don't need anymore for what you were going to do and now what you're not doing anymore. So I think it sucks for everybody that's impacted by this stuff. It's not a surprise to me in the least.
Agree. Right. I think the rumors too are a few studios will see some changes, including well, I don't want to really spread rumors, so we'll just say, but I am wearing my Forza shirt for a reason today.
Microsoft rumor, it's always true. So you can say it.
But I just, obviously you don't like to see these things, right? So you hope everyone kind of either gets positioned somewhere else in the company or is kind of moved to another position that's more suitable. We'll see what happens, and we'll talk about it more next week, I guess. So
something to look forward to, everybody. See you then.
Yeah, frustrating. Yeah. We got a super chat from Shoosh.
Shoosh gives a €2 super chat and writes, Halo 2 on the nose, Halo 3 on the beach.
I mean,
there's
Halo
a lot of
3,
beaches. I remember Halo 1 on the beach. Halo 1's got that island level, one of the best levels in the game.
Yes, it's called, oh my God, my Halo card is being revoked as I speak. Nice. It's like the most memorable.
Isn't that the cartographer?
Silent cartographer.
Silent cartographer. Yeah,
I think that is correct.
I was, for some reason, Monument of Our Sins was coming in my head, and
I was Truth and Reconciliation for some reason. That's not
Truth
true.
and Reconciliation is another level. Yes. Man, when that game came out, good Lord.
Did you guys ever do that thing where you get two warthogs and you ram each other on the beach? And then there was like this bug in Halo 1 where like one of the cars would like the head of their vehicle would go underneath the other one, and then that one would flip up in the air and do like a million spins.
Yeah. They had some broken physics stuff.
I did that for hours with my brothers. It's amazing.
It's kind of funny looking back on, because like Halo 2, for instance, was when the competitive scene started to grow in the console space, like esports, you know what I mean?
Right.
And but there were like bugs that were considered legitimate tactics, right? Like rocket boosting and these other things you can do in Halo 2, which are just breaking the game, but they were used in competitive play, which you don't really see anymore nowadays. So it's kind of funny. But Shoosh, thank you so much. Yeah, things have changed a lot in that
like
space.
The scent of fresh lemons you see.
Gentle Stone says, big thanks to whoever gifted my membership. That would be Vintage Willow, Gentle Stone. So make sure you give her a shout out. She has gifted a lot of memberships here at SG, and always very thankful for that. So, well, boys, I think that's going to wrap us up this week. Pretty quiet week. Big game release in Death Stranding. The Switch 2 is humming along, waiting for the bonanza to begin here in a couple weeks. And
wait, I'm confused. Do we not have a segment here where we talk about the Supreme Court end of term? That's not this show?
I would rather not.
Is that part of Show Me Your Wares?
Show me your scares.
I don't
know.
I have a multifaceted set of interests.
Me too. I just don't talk about them publicly. You rube. God.
You rube.
God.
Anyway, we'll go ahead
Doesn't
and
like Italians. Always talking about the Supreme Court. It's like, get over
all
it,
these
dude.
things. I know.
Jeez.
God. The Italian thing is, we're trying, guys. We're trying to get over the hump with him on this.
Yeah,
we'll
we
keep
are.
at it.
But he keeps talking about the Supreme Court case.
Anyway, let's go ahead and call out. So we've got one thing I wanted to shout out is we've got a bunch of continued coverage we've done, which is a lot for us as a small site, of course. So previews of a whole bunch of games, some of which I've mentioned, but we did preview Pragmata this week, hands-on preview of Capcom's latest. We had the Capcom showcase this week, where really they just kind of showed stuff they had already shown at Summer Game Fest or announced, but got to see a little more of it. So we have a hands-on preview of Pragmata up you can check out. We put up the preview of Lego Party, Mouse PI for Hire, Crizzle, Theater of Idols, and we have previews coming for the Phasmophobia expansion that's new as well, and a couple other indie titles as well early this week. So if you could swing by, we'd appreciate it. I also want to shout out, it's looking like as we close the month here, well, it's not looking like, we already are, but June will be the biggest month for seasoned gaming in its history.
Nice.
Very cool. Most
How many views is
users
that?
we've ever had. Don't worry about it. It's like 0.1% of IGNs, something like that. But it is it's pretty significant, honestly, for such a small site, right? So I'll call that out at the end of the month. I want to see where we end here in a couple days. So, but appreciate everyone who's kind of hung out with us for Summer Game Fest and come by the site, and appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, Hoeg, anything you want to call out this week?
I did not make any new video content for my channel this week. I was on parent duty. One of my daughters was at summer camp in many states away with my wife. So me and my other daughter played a lot of Last Defense Academy together. So that game is ridiculous long. We now have 8 clears out of 100, apparently. But it's an excellent game. Played that. Didn't do any other video content, except that I was on Summon Sign on Last Stand Media with Gene Park and Brad Ellis, where Gene talked about Death Stranding 2 because he had already played it. And I talked about some of the things that I've mentioned here, like Dicey Dungeons and The Altars. So if you're interested in that,
I gotta play that one.
It's a great conversation. You can check it out on Last Stand Media.
Did you beat it? Did you beat The Altars?
Those are my wares. I got to get through my thought process, Travis. Then you can jump in. Okay, have I beaten The Altars? No, because Death Stranding 2 came out, so I'm about 3/4 of the way.
Got it. Okay.
I see a lot of people really loving that game. Very
Altars is great.
Yeah, I really want to play it. I haven't even opened it up.
Nice.
Play the preview though. That counts.
You haven't opened it up. You haven't opened.
I was gonna say I was like opened
game?
it up.
I haven't opened up the app. You open apps. You guys don't open up games.
I mean,
open
Has
up.
anyone ever used the phrase "I haven't opened it up" to describe their digital software?
Hell yeah!
Look,
you guys are just
I just
bold,
know it
dude. You
does
don't
what it
get
says on the tin. That's all.
Oh boy.
So, Travis, show me your wares.
I will for King Wenceslas. Let's see. My wares. Borderlands 4 Q&A tomorrow. If you got questions for me, let me know. And
Do they have to be Borderlands related?
They do, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
By the way, we're taking comments from YouTube and IGN, so some of them are like snarky, like "Why are you so bad at the game, bitch?" Which I'm really excited to answer. So I'm, yeah, please watch that video. And then I've got a preview of Sea of Remnants on IGN.com. You can read that. You can watch a video, some footage. Other than that, not doing a whole lot. I'm catching up on games. I'm very excited. I'm probably going to be on a review as early as Tuesday, so just enjoying the time while I can.
Are you reviewing, or if you can't say, that's fine, Grounded 2, since you did Grounded?
I don't know if we are reviewing it, but if we do, I'll definitely review it. July is pretty packed. I've got Tales from the Shire. I've got Wild Gate. I've got there's a bunch of games that I think are on the list of priorities.
Wildgate is the one you previewed, the sci-fi one where you have to steal stuff from each other, right?
Yeah. It's like a PvE, PvP. If you want to play that with me, I can. I will likely be getting a bunch of codes for it pretty soon here.
I wouldn't mind. It looks interesting. It looks like the kind of game that's going to be really fun in the right environment. I just don't know how it's going to do in mainstream matchmaking type thing. I'm curious.
Yeah,
it
from
will
what I
not be
saw,
good in matchmaking,
I don't know
but-
if it's going to demand too much of the casual base. I could see it
Yeah.
easily going in like an evolved direction.
Yeah.
It could. I think it has a pretty good. I as a chance. You never know with these things because it really does amount to like, will this one catch fire and it'll become like the big thing everybody's playing, like a Fortnite kind of situation. Like there's a little bit of a crapshoot there, but I think it has the makings of. I can tell which ones aren't going to hit, even when I love them. Like I can't tell you if a game is going to hit, but I can tell you when I know for sure it isn't. Right? Like Knockout City was one where I was like, oh, this game's awesome. I can tell already it's gonna die quick, and then it did.
It was so good.
It was good, but I knew right away. Right? It's one of those games where you play it and you're like, oh, this is great. Too bad. It's pretty obviously not going to stick around. Skull and Bones is another one, although they're proving me wrong every day, aren't they?
Well, Ubisoft will just pour money into things until they work.
Right. I hope it does. But yeah, that's me. Ains, you've already shown your wares. We've all shown our wares.
We have. We can go ahead and get out of here and enjoy another week of great gaming. So, audience, as always, thank you very much. Appreciate everything that you do to support us around here. Enjoy your games this week. We will be back. We forgot to show Paddington. There's a real
There he
Paddington.
is.
Hoeg has a fake one. I don't know.
Oh,
what
pick
that
up your Paddington. We got to have more Paddingtons in here. I'm just embracing this meme today, even though I still do not understand it.
That's great. Everyone have a great week. Thank you as always, and we will see you next Sunday. Till then, peace.
Bye.